Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto Yugioh bijuu deck harem. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by DEMONZONE2571 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Now for the story. It was all over, Kaguya was finally defeated and the Juubi was sealed once again and the world is finally at peace, so everything should be smooth sailing ahead for Naruto and the rest of Team 7, right? Wrong. It turns out that Sasuke decided to be a little traitorous bitch and declare revolution by announcing that he'll be killing the current cages and naming himself king of all of the elemental nations, with the pink-hair Banshee agreeing with him and thus inflating his ego again, Naruto being the only person with any common sense other than Kakashi and Hagoromo Otsutsuki, better known as the Sage of the Six Paths and father to all ninjutsu and the creator of the bijuu, watched a fool go on and on about how he'll use the bijuu to destroy all the nations and create his own utopia over their ashes. As this was going on, Naruto had sealed all 9 bijuu into himself because to the blonde, it'll be a snowball's chance in hell if he'll let Sasuke control the bijuu for his own selfish reasons. Also, while Sasuke was preaching about his greatness and Sakura was stroking his ego, Hagoromo took Madara's eyes and implanted them into Naruto, and thanks to the bijuu and his Uzumaki healing faction, they were ready to go, and I mean seriously, if you can do all that while Sasuke stroking his ego, image what anyone else would have done, reads porn, hell yeah. When Sasuke was done ranting, he looked around for the bijuu and was confused to see that they were gone. Where are they? Where are my weapons for conquest? He asked the fangirl, only for her to point to the group of 3 which consisted of Naruto, Kakashi and an ethereal Hagoromo. Sasuke then marched to them. Where are my weapons? He asked, only for Hagoromo to look at Indra's reincarnation with disgust, Kakashi to look at his former students, as if they'd finally lost their minds, and for Naruto to deck him with a Tsunade's style, bijuu chakra-infused punch, sending the delusional fool into one of the many giant roots left by the Shinjuku, after Naruto literally cut that tree down with a senton. Imton Rasen Shuriken, Sage Art. Lava-style Rasen Shuriken, courtesy of Naruto and the Yambi Son Goku. Sakura decided to interject, Naruto, you baka, why did you do that? She yelled, only find sand circling around her and Naruto with his hand pointing at Sakura in a Gaara-like fashion. Sakura, I've had enough of your stupid fangirl tendencies, and here I thought you might have grown out of it, but I guess I was wrong, so I'm about to do what I should have done a long time ago, and I feel that it's been long overdue, he said as he held out his hand. Shikaku, you ready to kill a fangirl? He asked the one-tailed, only to get an affirmative response. Sure thing, kiddo, and after seeing your memories, we all believe that this punishment is way overdue, the Ichibi said, with the others nodding in agreement. Alright, then Jitan. Sabaku kick, magnet style. Sand binding coffin, he said as the sand encased her in a cocoon of sand and rubble. Kakashi and Hagoromo just stood by and watched. Sakura was now scared. Naruto, you can't do this to me, I'm your Sakura-chan. She argued, only for the sand to cover her mouth. Naruto then looked at her with uncaring eyes. Not anymore was all he said as he balled his extended hand into a fist. Sabaku so, and don't know if I spelled that right, sand burial was all he said as the sand-covered Sakura imploded with blood and sand going everywhere, ending the fangirl's life and sent her soul straight to hell, and only one word to describe this scene. Brutal. Naruto then summoned a whole horde of shadow clones and ordered them to collect the 7 swords of the mist, the 4 treasure artifacts of the sage, Orochimaru's Kusanagi no Tsurugi, and every scroll on all ninjutsu, taijutsu, jinjutsu, fuinjutsu, ninjutsu and anything important from his ancestral home of Yuzushi Agakure no Sado, and finally from his parents' estate, and seal them into a large sealing scroll, and when done collecting, use either the Kamui, authority of the god, to send the asked targets into his own personal dimension, thanks to his implanted Sharingan, and the knowledge of how to use it thanks again to Hagoromo, or to use the Banbutsu SMZM, creation of all things, technique, to create a large bird to transport it to him. Because he had a feeling that his time here in the elemental nations was almost at an end, and foreshadowing. As this was going on, Sasuke, using his Susanoo, finally got himself free from the route that Naruto sent him through. That clan, less loser will pay, he said as he launched himself into the air, activated his complete Susanoo, and shot like a rocket to his target with delusions of grandeur. After about 30 minutes has pasted since Naruto issued his orders to his clone army. Naruto sensed that all the cloned have completed their tasks and sent the items to his personal dimension via Kamui instead of using Banbutsu SMZM. Naruto then summoned 10 million shadow clones and ordered them to go to the Kamui world and learn everything that was in those scroll and to dissipate 100 at a time. The clone army then disappeared in a sea of vortexes to begin learning the contents of the scroll. The blonde then sensed Sasuke approaching him with the full intent to kill him, and so he gave a deep sigh before looking to his sensei and ancestor. "Thank you for everything, for whatever happens. Please let it be known that it was I who stopped evil in its tracks," he said, only getting a nod from his former sensei and a warm smile from his legendary ancestor. The fight between Naruto and Sasuke is pretty much the same as in chapters 695 to 698 of the Naruto manga, with only a few key differences, such as without the bijuu Sasuke's perfect Susanoo wasn't enhanced with all the nine-tailed beast chakras, but since Naruto has his own pair of Sharingan, he has his own version of perfect Susanoo, and this enhanced it with bijuu chakra, which looked like an armored Kyuubi. The fight has reached its climax in the place where it all started, with both literally out of chakra and was charging their final attacks. Sasuke and Amaterasu infused Chidori and Naruto a bijuu Adama Rasengan. The two attacks collide and created an explosion that destroyed the Valley of the End. The sheer force of their attacks ripped a hole through the fabric of space and time, sucking Naruto in and closing on Sasuke, only for him to land in the river below, which lead to a waterfall and bunch of jagged rock, and with no chakra to save his life and losing a lot of blood, you can pretty much guess what happens next. Meanwhile, in the dimensional rift, while Naruto was unconscious, the bijuu were working overtime just to keep their host from being ripped apart. And so they came to a solution to keep their host alive, and that was to merge and become the new Kyuubi with its power. Not only will they save their friend, but grant him with the power to become something more, and so the bijuu merged, and from the light of their fusion, a giant golden wolf with 10 tails emerged and pumped its chakra into the boy, keeping him alive as he sailed through the rift and to his new adventure. On Duelist Kingdom, or Pegasus's mansion. On a remote island is a large castle that is home to the creator of duel monsters, Maximilian Pegasus. The man was staring at the painting of his late wife Cecilia, who died of illness at the age of 17, just after getting married. As he sat in front of the painting of his beloved, Pegasus saw a flash of white outside the window and left to investigate the unusual phenomenon. At the same time, Yugioh, also known as the King of Games, was updating his deck when he noticed that the Egyptian god cards began to glow as if something was calling to them. Then they did something that surprised Yugi. They flew out the open window and to their intended destination, but not before explaining to the young duelist that they'll be with the one who bears the light of Kami. Back with Pegasus. Pegasus had gone to see what that flash of light was, and what he saw shocked him. What he found was a small boy around the age of 7 who appeared injured. He quickly rushed to the young blonde's aid and got him inside his home, where he and his servants treated the boy for any injury. After several hours, the boy was cleaned up. Pegasus began to question just who this mysterious child was and just where he came from. Then he remembered the flash of light from earlier, so the assumption the boy being from another world or dimension was plausible. Then he noticed that the boy began to stir, thus waking up. 10 years later. The 17-year-old male is sitting in a limo with his father, who adopted him 10 years ago after he appeared in the man's garden. Naruto was going through his deck making sure that everything was in order, plus he liked the interaction he had with the dual spirits, especially with his favorite red-armored female samurai, who made it clear that if any one other girl wanted a shot at him, they must prove their worth. Then there were the interactions with the god cards that belonged to his god brother Yugi, who was okay with him having the cards for now. Then there was his godfather Seto Kaiba, who had challenged him to several duels with them being wins or draws. Then through Yugi he met with Joey Wheeler, the third strongest duelist, and his sister Serenity Wheeler, who had become close to the young blonde and later started seeing each other. At this, Joey was pissed but was cool with it as long as he treated her right. His thoughts were disrupted when he heard his father call his name. "Now son, are you ready to take the dueling world by storm?" he asked as he finished reading his comic book. "I too, san, though it sucks that I had to leave my original deck back at home, but I suppose it was for the best," he said as he put the final touches to his deck. Pegasus sighed at his son's remark. "I know you wanted to use the deck, but it still isn't finished. I still have a lot of work to do before it's complete," he said to his son, who knew full well that what his father was saying is true. Naruto nodded to his father, agreeing with what he said. "It's alright father, and besides, this deck is all I need for the exams and the academy," he said with pride as he sensed his deck's pride. The car stopped and Naruto got out and made his way over to the registration desk to have his decks checked for banned or illegal cards, but when they saw the cards, he said that his father had created the deck as a prototype and that he was testing the deck to see if the cards worked. Also, when questioned about the god cards, he told them that Yugioh had given the cards to him and that his godfather Seto had allowed him to use the cards. After checking in, he made his way to the dueling stadium. When he entered, he saw a British kid finishing up his duel. When he won, he bowed and left the stadium. Naruto noticed a brown-haired girl that had highlights in her hair. The blue-haired kid, who was rather short for his age, explained that there are only supposed to be one more duels after Bastion's duel. "Okay, then who's the last duelists?" The girl, who during the conversation Naruto found out is named Judayuki. Naruto walked up to the two of them. That would be me, Naruto Pegasus. Nice to meet you, Mizuki, Naruto said, as both the blue-haired boy named Cirrus and Judai looked like they would faint right then and there because they are in front of the Maximilian Pegasus's heir. Cirrus fainted and Judai had to support herself on the railing. The intercom came on. Will Naruto Pegasus report to Dueling Field 2? On Dueling Field 2. Naruto. 4000. Jim, instructor. 4000. Okay applicant, I'll start this off. I summon Giant Soldier of Stone in defense mode, 1300 2000, I end my turn. Naruto drew a card and smirked. Okay, I start off by activating 2 spell cards, Gateway of the 6 and 6 Samurai United. Then since I have no monsters on my side of the field, I can special summon Elder of the 6 Samurai, 400 to the field in attack mode and active the spell called Asceticism of the 6 Samurai and special summon a 6 Samurai monster whose attack is equal to the one I currently have on the field, so I special summon Kagemusha of the 6 Samurai, 400 1800s. Then I activate 6 Samurai United's effect. Since I had summoned 2 6 Samurai monsters, I can send this card to the graveyard and draw 2 new cards, he said as he sent the spell card to the graveyard and drew 2 new cards. Now I activate 2 spell cards, Reinforcement of the Army, which allows me to search my deck for any level 4 or lower warrior monster and add it to my hand, and Shin's Smoke Signal, which allows me to add a 6 Samurai monster to my hand so long that its level is 3 or lower, he said as he searched his deck. At this everyone was awed by the deck swarming capabilities. Now to continue, I special summon legendary 6 Samurai Kaizen, 1800 500 and normal summon legendary 6 Samurai Kageki, 200 2000s, then I activate Gateway of the 6, by removing 4 Bushido counters, I can add a 6 Samurai monster from my deck or graveyard to my hand, he said as he searched his deck and found what he was looking for. Now I special summon Grandmaster of the 6 Samurai, 2100 800 in attack mode, he said, summoning his 5th monster on turn 1. Everyone was amazed at how fast this new deck can swarm the field, even the instructor was frightened at how fast this kid had filled his field. Naruto then took a deep breath and continued, now I'm about to show a new game mechanic that my father hopes to bring to Duel Monsters. Now I tune level 2 Kagemusha of the 6 Samurai with my level 3 Elder of the 6 Samurai, he said as the 2 monsters jumps in the air. Kagemusha turned to 2 green rings and surrounded Elder of the 6 Samurai. May your blade be true and your will be strong as your sword. Synchro summon. A blast of light appear before him. Appear before me legendary 6 Samurai Cheyenne, 2500 1400, Naruto roared as the giant pillar of light disappeared and was replaced with a warrior clad in red samurai armor and was carrying a serrated edge katana. I think it's time to end this, Cheyenne attack his giant soldier of stone, he commanded his monster to attack. The monster then shoots at the stone giant and sliced it in half. Now I activate Kaizen's effect, which is if there is another 6 Samurai monster on my side of the field, it gains an additional 300 attack points, bring it to 2100, which is enough to finish the duel. Now Kaizen, Grandmaster attack him directly, the 2 monsters unsheathed their swords and attack the instructor. 4200 to 4000 equals 0. Naruto. 4000, FTK. Jim, instructor. 0. At this everyone was shocked at how fast the duel ended. The ones that had different ideas were Judai, who wanted to duel the whiskered blonde, Alexis, who watched the duel intently, wanted to get to know the blonde, Zane wanted to see if he was the rival that he was searching for. After that Naruto walked to the station that handed you your jacket to the dorm you are assigned depending on your scores, but instead of picking up an obelisk blue jacket, he picked up a Slifer red, stating that he wanted to prove that he truly did deserve to wear the blue jacket and not just be handed to him on a silver platter. Soon after Jaden came up and got a red jacket, and when she saw him wearing red, she smiled at the thought of rooming with a young blonde. A few days later finds the group on a helicopter headed to one destination, Academy Island. When everybody landed on the island they were directed to a rather spacious room with a huge big screen TV. Naruto looked over to his left and noticed Judai was sleeping. He laughed a bit because for all her energetic nature, she can sleep through just about anything. She must be dreaming of dueling if she can sleep while standing, the blonde thought to himself as he smiled in her direction. The screen on the TV lit up and a bald man in his late 40s or early 50s was showed on the screen. Good morning and welcome my students, I'm Chancellor Shepard, the headmaster here, and you are the best and brightest young duelists in the world. Now, get yourselves settled in at your assigned dorms. I think you'll find them quite comfortable, depending on how you're ranked of course. Shepard finished with a chuckle. After the lecture, Naruto woke Judai up so that they don't leave her behind. Then they made their way to the front of the school. Judai, Cirrus, and Bastion were all hanging around the front of the school looking at the PDA, personal dueling assistant. So guys, it looks like I'm in the Slifer red dorm. Judai announced to her new friends. Same with me. Cirrus said. Looks like I'll be joining you guys in the red dorm, Naruto said, getting a smile from Judai and Cirrus. Hey, Bastion-san, you in red too? Judai asked. Bastion, being the slight smartass that he is, spoke up in a mocking but informative way. Well, let's see now, yellow sleeve, yellow buttons, I don't think so. Judai looked like she was realizing this for the first time. Oh, so that's how it works. So that's why Naruto are in red. Judai thought out loud, getting a chuckle out of the air of Pegasus. Bastion looked a little disturbed due to him not used to being around people like Judai. Please don't tell me that you just figured that out, he stated. Before Judai has a chance to respond, Naruto cut her off. Easy there, Bastion, she's new to this and knowing her type she'll adapt rather quickly to the way the school system works, he said, getting a nod from Bastion before he left the group. Naruto then turned to Judai and Cirrus. Okay, you two let head over to the dorm, and judging from the map it should be. He then looks up and see a rundown dorm that was painted red. At this, Naruto sweat drops and wonders what Kaiba was thinking when he set up this academy, but decided to leave it for now. The group of 3 arrived to the dorm to check it out, then they checked their rooming arrangements, and Cirrus was rooming with a student named Chumli, and Judai is bunking with Naruto, which made her blush, but got over it. After unpacking their belongings, the group of 3 decided to tour the academy hall, where they stumbled across the dueling arena where 3 obelisk blue students were socializing, who then took notice of the 3 Slifer students. Glasses wearing obelisk blue on a large built obelisk approached the group, telling them to scram, as this side of the academy was theirs. Judai told them that they were just exploring the academy to see where everything was. Then she took notice of the 3rd obelisk student that was sitting in the bleachers and asked who he was. His name is Chaz Princeton, the #1 student at Duel Academy preschool, so you should show him some respect, the glasses wearing student said to Judai. Yeah, he's going to be the next king of games, the larger student said. Judai then scoffed. There's no way he's going to be the next king of games, because that's what I'm going to be, he said with a confident smile. Naruto then cleared his throat, getting her attention. Actually, Judai-chan, you would the queen of games, but I'll shoot for the title king of games so that we can be the royal pair, he said with an award-winning smile, making her blush. The 2 obelisk blues then laughed at them. You a pair of slifer slackers like you. That'll be the day, the 4-eyed teen said. Will you shut up? The spiky black-haired boy said as he stared down at them. Well, if it isn't the girl who defeated Dr. Crowler and his rare card in Pegasus's heir, he said with a snide remark. Naruto looked at Judai. Really now, that is quite impressive, Judai-chan, he praised her, making her smile. Chaz then smirked. I wouldn't call it impressive, I'd say it was a fluke, so why don't we find out, he said, trying to rile the brunette up. Bring it. Judai said as the 2 stare at each other. Naruto was about to step in when suddenly a new student entered the arena, and it was a girl. Naruto presumes she's obelisk. After all, girls in this academy are automatically obelisk blue, with the exception of Judai. Naruto looks closely and he recognizes the girl. Chaz, what are you doing? The girl in blonde hair said. Chaz looks at the girl with a grin on his face. Ah, Alexis, are you gonna watch me thrash this lifer loser? Chaz said. No, I'm here to tell you that the obelisk welcoming dinner is in 15 minutes, she says, which got Chaz and his friends to leave the arena. You 3 should be going now to get on time on the Slifer welcome party. Alexis said to the Slifer group. Thank you, Miss, Naruto asked. Rhodes, Alexis Rhodes, she answered. Alright, Ms. Rhodes, thanks for reminding us about the welcoming dinner. Judai, Cirrus, let's go, he said as he led the other Slifer students back to their dorm. Later that night. After the welcoming party. Jaden, Naruto and everyone else were relaxing at Naruto's and Judai's room. Cirrus introduced Chumli to Naruto and Judai and they became quick friends. Man, I'm already full from all those fried shrimp. Judai said. Naruto was readjusting his deck for future use, Cirrus was making tea, and Chumli went back to his dorm room to sleep. Here you go, Naruto. Cirrus said as he handed the tea. Naruto thanked Cirrus and accepted the tea. Cirrus gave Judai her tea and left to give Chumli tea since he left the room. Just moments later, Judai's PDA rang. She then opens it and saw an incoming voice message and reveals video of Chaz. Don't think you're off the hook, slacker. Tonight at midnight we duel at the duel arena. Winners get the loser's best card. Man, that guy really wanna beat you, Judai. Cirrus said as he entered the room and Judai had a grin on her face. I'm so in. Let's go, Sai. Judai said as moves out from her seat and grabbed her deck and dual disc. You do know that the arena is off limit at this hour, right? If the campus security saw you two, then you're both in big trouble. Naruto explained the two. Judai and Cirrus look at him with wide eyes in what they just heard now. Really? Judai asked and Naruto just raised a brow at him. Do you think I would lie to you, Judai-chan? Naruto asked and Judai just pouted at him. Despite knowing him for a day, she knew that Naruto was right. The blonde would never lie to her. Dad and I read the rule book, he said, pulling out a booklet that read Duel Academy rules and regulations. This made Judai and Cirrus sweat drop. Not funny, Naruto-san, Judai said with a pout. This made Naruto chuckle a bit. But I want to duel him. Judai whined and Naruto just rolled his eyes and sighed because knowing her personality she'd go even if he had her chained to a pole. Fine, I'll help you guys. Naruto said and Judai eyes lit up like a child while Cirrus looked at him confused. How are you going to do that, Naruto? Cirrus asked and Naruto just raised a brow at him until he realizes that he forgot to tell them something. I forgot to mention something about myself, didn't I? Well, I may not know you two very well, but I can trust you with this, Naruto said as the two Slifer students continued to look confused. Well, Cirrus, to answer your question, I'm what you call a psychic duelist. I can bring any duel monster to life. Naruto explained as both Judai and Cirrus' eyes widened in shock in hearing this. That's so cool, Naruto-san, Judai said with stars in her eyes. Really? I thought psychic duelists were sent to some academy to help them control their power, so why are you here? Cirrus asked and Naruto pulls out card from his deck and reveals to be legendary 6 Samurai Mizuho card. Well, to answer your question, Cirrus, it's because I'd rather learn to control my abilities on my own terms, that in me and Tucson didn't trust the head of the Psychic Academy. He give he the creeps, he said, remembering when Sayer came to Pegasus trying to get his son into his academy. Thankfully, his father put a stop to that and threatened Sayer that if he or anyone from his institute were to approach his son, he'd be forced to take serious measures to ensure Naruto's safety. I'm out, Mizuho. Naruto said, and then the card glowed bright for a few seconds and suddenly a woman with long black hair, wearing red female samurai armor and carrying a pair of 2 halves of a chakram, appeared behind the blonde. Whoa, she's beautiful, Cirrus screamed in awe as he saw the monster before him. Mizuho then wrapped her arms around Naruto's neck in a passionate manner. It's okay, Cirrus, she won't hurt you, although if you were a girl who wanted a relationship with me you'd have to go through her. Naruto said. At this, Mizuho then turned to Judai and the two stared at each other, sizing up the other. She then backs off and nods to her duelist, as if to say she approves. See, there's nothing to be afraid of. Naruto said and Cirrus nodded at him. Mizuho then returned to her card and Naruto put his deck away. Let's go already. I want to duel Chaz now. Judai said and the two Slifer nodded at her. As they left, they went to Chumli's room. Hey Chumli, you wanna come? Cirrus asked. No thanks. Chumli said in a grumpy tone. Cirrus looks at Naruto and he just shrugged at him. The trio left the dorm and headed to the arena. At the arena. The trio arrived at the arena and Jaden was ready to duel. I still think it's a bad idea. Cirrus said and Judai just shrugged at him. Hey, when someone challenge you to a duel, you accept it even though he's an A-grade asshole. Judai said. Then the trio finally arrived at the arena and saw Chaz and Lackey waiting there. Chaz watched as Judai walks to the other side of the field. You showed up after all. Judai just smirked at him. You know I never back down from a challenge even if it's to a creep like you. Judai said as she activated his duel disc. Just prepare your best card. Bitch, Chaz said as he activated his duel disc also. I hope you do too. Asshole, Judai said. Duel. Chaz. 4,000. Judai. 4,000. I'll start. Chaz said then he draws a card. I summon Reborn Zombie 1600s in defense mode. A zombie monster appeared in Chaz's zone. Then I place a card face down and end my turn. Chaz said with a smirk. Make your move, slacker bitch. My move, jerk, draw. Judai said and looks at her hand. I play Polymerization and I fuse Elemental Hero Burstinatrix and Avian to summon Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. 2100-1200. Judai said and the Flame Wingman appeared in the field. Chaz has a smirk on his face. I activated the trap card Chthonian Polymer. Chaz said as he reveals his trap card, making Naruto eyes widen in shock. Oh, crap. Naruto said and Cirrus looks at him confused. What's wrong, Naruto? What does that card do? Cirrus asked. Naruto was about to answer when suddenly another voice interrupted them. I knew I heard something suspicious. A voice said and two turns around and saw Alexis approaches them. Why are you guys dueling at this hour? Alexis asked and Naruto just pointed his thumb at Chaz. That ego head wanted to challenge Judai and she accepted the duel. Naruto explained as he looks at Alexis. Anyway, what's so bad about that card? Cirrus asked. That trap card allows the user gain control of the opponent fusion monster by tributing a monster of his own. Naruto explained and Cirrus' eyes widen in shock. That means. Yeah, big trouble for Judai. Naruto said as he observed the battle. Chaz's monster was gone and Flame Wingman changed to Chaz's side with a demonic look on its face. Well, I summon Elemental Hero Claimant 800-2000s in defense mode and end my turn. Judai said as large warrior appeared on her side of the field. My turn, slacker bitch. Chaz said as he drew his card. I summoned Chthonian Soldier 1200-1400 in attack position. A black armored soldier appeared at field. Now I attack with Flame Wingman. Flame Wingman body was covered with fire and charges a claimant and destroyed him. Now, Flame Wingman effects activated. When a monster is destroyed, that monster at points will inflict with your life points. Chaz. 4000. You die. 3200. Now, attack with Chthonian soldier directly. Chaz shouted and Chthonian soldier slashed you die. Chaz. 4000. You die. 2000. Then I end with one face down. Your move, slacker bitch. Chaz sneered at you die. Naruto glares at Chaz for insulting her. This guy is getting on my nerves. Naruto as he started to leak out some killing intent and towards Chaz. CC calm down, Naruto Sira said as he tried to calm the blonde down. Naruto listened to Sira's request and took a deep breath to calm down. My move. Judai said as she draws her card. I summon elemental hero Sparkman, 1600-1200, in attack mode. A blue and yellow warrior appeared in the field. Sparkman attacked Chthonian soldier. Judai commanded and Sparkman released a thunder attack from the palm of its hand and destroyed the monster. Chaz. 3600. Judai. 2000. Nice going slacker bitch. You activated my monster effect. When he gets destroyed, the damage I received to life points from that battle gets back to you. Chaz said with a smirk on his face. Chaz. 3600. Judai. 1600. Man, this is bad. Sira said. The battle is not over until one of them hits zero. Naruto said. Bad, she is bad situation, you know. Alexa said and Naruto turned his attention to her. But in a duel there's always a card that can turn this thing around. No matter how bad the situation is. You shouldn't give up. Naruto said to Alexis before returning his attention back to the duel. Alright, I place one card face down and end my turn. Judai said. This is the end, slacker bitch. Chaz said as he draw his card. Attack Flame Wingman. I activate the trap card Mirror Gate. Judai said as she revealed her trap card. Chaz's eyes widened in shock when he saw this, while Naruto had grin on his face. This card causes our monster to switch places, which mean that Flame Wingman is back to my side. Judai explained. Sparkman and Flame Wingman changes places and the two clashes one against another and Flame Wingman destroyed Sparkman. Chaz. 3100. Judai. 1600. You know the drill, ass whip. When Flame Wingman destroys a monster, then you take damage equal to at point that monster was destroyed. Judai said and Chaz was hit by lightning. Chaz. 1500. Judai. 1600. You'll pay for that, bitch. Chaz said and grabbed one of the cards in his hands. I play the card Chthonian Blast. This card is activated when my monster is destroyed. I can destroy one of your monsters, then you take damage equal to half of its at power. Chaz explained. Flame Wingman is destroyed in the field. Chaz. 1500. Judai. 550. Now use the trap card Call of the Haunted to bring back one monster from the graveyard and I call Chthonian Soldier. The Chthonian Soldier appeared once again. Don't worry, he won't be there for long. I sacrifice him to summon Mephis the Infernal General, 1800-1700, to the field. Chaz said and Chthonian Soldier disappeared in particle of lights and was created into black armor man with giant axe in its hand and was sitting on a horse. You're dead, slacker bitch. On my next turn it's over. Chaz sneered as he let out a laugh. The duel isn't over until the life points hit zero. My move, draw. Judai said as she draw her card. Her eyes widened and shock and grin appeared on her face. Alright. Now eyes. The campus security guards is coming. Alexis shouted and Judai is widened in shock and looks at Naruto. Naruto, do it. Judai said and Naruto nodded at him and pulls out his card. Go Mizuho. Naruto said and the card flashes in bright light that blinded everyone. After the light was gone, everyone opened their eyes and saw legendary 6 Samurai Mizuho appeared before them. What the hell? Chaz said with shock look on his face. Mizuho, can you scare the guards off? Naruto asked and Mizuho nodded at him and flew out to the duel arena exit. Soon they could hear screams coming from the guards. Dead samurai warrior. Save me. Everyone eyes widened in shock as they heard the screams of the guards. Wow, that just make me more fearful of women if she can scare them. Sira said. Ditto, Alexa said. Now let's finish the duel, Judai said, and everyone turned back to the duel. You know Chaz, you said that I'm finished, right? Judai asked and Chaz just sneered at him. Got that right, slacker bitch. You have no more monsters and my monster can do piercing damage, so whatever monster you have there. It won't help. Chaz said arrogantly. I'll have to disagree with you on that. Judai said with a smirk on her face. I play the spell card. Monster Reborn. What? Chaz shouted in shock. And I bring back elemental hero Flame Wingman. Judai said and Flame Wingman appeared at the field once again. Now destroy this asshole's monster. Skydiving Scorch. Flame Wingman body was covered with flames and jumps into the air and dives down towards Chaz monster. An explosion was created when the impact was made. Chaz. 1200. You die. 550. Thanks to my Flame Wingman special effect you're finish. Judai said. Chaz. 0. You die. 550. That's game. Judai said as she did her signature pose. Chaz looks up and glare at her. You're just a lucky bitch, that's all. Chaz shouted at Judai and she just shrugged at him. Luck or not, I win the duel, but I won't accept your card, however, if you want to duel again. I'll be more than happy to accept. Judai said with a grin on her face. Chaz got up and left the arena with grumpy mood with his lackey following him. Now let's get out of here. Alexa said and everyone nodded at her and left the arena. Outside the arena. Man, that was a sweet duel, Judai said with grin on her face. Yeah, I thought you would lose. But you won. Sira said happily. Then suddenly they heard noises. They turned to where it was coming from and saw Mizuho was approaching them. Mizuho. Naruto said as he approaches the lady of the 6 samurai. Thank you Mizuho-san, I owe you a favor. Judai said. Think nothing of it, I only did it because my master asked me to do it, Mizuho said in a serious tone as she disappeared in small particles of light. Naruto then sighed, don't let what she says get to you, she takes her job very seriously, but she means well, he said. How did Naruto make that Mizuho come to life? Alexis asked. Judai looks at Naruto and saw that the blonde just sighed and nodded at her before she turns back to Alexis. Well, Naruto-kun is a psychic duelist. He has the ability to materialize any duel monster to life. Jaden explained, and this causes Alexis's eyes widen in shock. Naruto then started to head to the red dorm, with Judai and Cirrus running to catch up with him. Alexis then smiled at the blonde. I'm sure with him around things here are about to pick up, she thought, before heading to her dorm. Amik. Moments after Chaz left the building, he and his lackeys decided to hide in the bushes near the entrance. They wanted to see how the blonde Slifer was able to summon a monster without the aid of a dual disc. They assumed it was either a millennium item or he was a psychic duelist. If it was a millennium item, then they would jump him and steal it from him, because in their mind no Slifer slacker should ever have something that was meant for an obelisk blue, and if it was the other, if he's a psychic duelist, then selling him out to Sayer would making them richer, since Sayer placed a bounty on the whereabouts of all psychic duelists. As they waited, the three then felt an ominous presence coming from behind them. They turned around and were greeted by a woman in red samurai armor with long black hair and a chakram on her back. You were planning to hurt my master, that I will not stand for, she said as her eyes changed from red to red with 3 tomes. Tsukiyomi. After a second has pasted, the 3 obelisks passed out without so much as giving a scream. Mizuho stared at them with an intense glare, which intensified even more when her eyes shifted again to a metallic purple with ripple-like rings around a single black pupil. As long as I'm his human path, no one will threaten my master's safety, was all she said, before joining her master. Wow, who didn't see that one coming? Kind of make you wonder who else is his paths if Mizuho is his human path. A week has passed since the duel with Judai and Chaz. During that time, Naruto helped Judai learn to control her ability to summon dual spirits since she had a connection to the winged Kuribo card. The two bonded over the week and formed a strong friendship, but knew that since Mizuho approved of Judai being in a relationship with a blonde, but decided to take it slow before moving towards an actual relationship. Now Naruto, Judai and his friends were class with Crowler as the professor for this time, and Alexis was just done answering Crowler question on the different card types. Well done, Alexis. I should expect no less from top student from Obelisk Blue. Crowler praised Alexis. It wasn't really that hard. Alexis said before she taken her seat. Crowler looks around to be asked next. He looks at the Slifer section and saw that something really irritated him. He saw Judai sleeping on Naruto's shoulder while he was focused on his deck. Naruto Pegasus. Crowler shouted, causing Judai to wake up and Naruto to turn his attention towards the cross-dresser in his opinion. Yes, Fukusaku Sha, transvestite. He asked as he looks at Crowler and saw that he was glaring at him and the students giggled at the blonde remake to the teacher's appearance. Well, since you weren't paying attention in class, please explain to us about what a field spell is. Crowler asked, hoping that the blonde would get it wrong or mess up. Is that all? Sure, no problem. Naruto said as he stands up. A field spell obviously affects the dual field. There are many different kinds of field spell cards like Yami, which increases the Atkin def power of both fiend and spellcaster based monster by 200, while it reduces fairy type monsters by 200. My personal favorite is Temple of the Six, where only 6 samurai monsters benefit from, because each time a 6 samurai monster is either normal summoned or special summoned, a Bushido counter is added, and for each Bushido counter the opponent's monsters loses 100 attack points. Naruto ended with a smirk on his face. Everyone in class was looking at him as he was able to explain the field spells. Nothing, the heir to industrial illusions can't handle. You know, Crowler asking the son of the man who created the game about the cards themselves is rather pointless, and it also speaks of your dueling skills. Predictable and third-rate, he said with a fox-like smile. This made everyone laugh while Crowler seethed with hatred towards the blonde. I will make sure to expel you. I don't care if you're Pegasus's heir, I will have you expelled if it's the last thing I'll ever do in this academy. Crowler mentally shouted, vowing to get vengeance at the blonde for humiliating him in front of his class. Lunch break. Now we find Naruto along with Yudai and Cirrus having lunch under a tree, while Mizuho and Winged Kurobo were socializing with each other, or rather Mizuho was guarding her master, while ignoring the little winged puffball, as she would describe Yudai's dual spirit. That was without a doubt the craziest thing you've ever done, Naruto-san, second to the whole bringing monsters to life thing, Cirrus said to Naruto as he took a sip from his iced coffee. Well, it's obvious that he was picking on the Slifers, and one of the things I hate are bullies, and Dr. Crowler is not only a bully, but a person who has favoritism towards those in blue, while he has animosity towards everyone else, Naruto as he took a bite of his ramen sandwich, and old addictions never die. I agree with you, Narukan, we Reds aren't to be underestimated, but I think Crowler is gonna get back at you, Judai said with concern. Let him try and we'll see who gets the last laugh, and besides I wasn't called the prankster king from hell just because of my dashing good looks, Naruto snorted as he proceeds to eat his food. After they were done eating and the bell rang. They quickly run towards their next class, since the one teaching it was the super sexy Fonda Fountain. Time force. It's gym class and Naruto couldn't believe that he had forgotten his weights, something that he always wore when exercising, and I do this too. It helps with building up endurance and stamina. As made his way to the locker room, he noticed that his locker was open and Cirrus with a letter in his hands. He tiptoed quietly to the small boy. When he was close enough he quickly snatched it, thus surprising the shorter Slifer. Hey. I was reading that. Cirrus whined. Naruto just ignored him, or rather held him in place with one hand as he started to read the letter. When he finished he frowned at this. Dude, this letter is a fake, Naruto said, and Cirrus looks at him confused. What do you mean? It's a love letter meant for you and it was written by Alexis Rhodes. Cirrus said and Naruto just frowned at him. Cirrus, I haven't spoken with her since the whole Chaz thing a week ago, and look at the time and place of the meeting, Naruto said as he pointed out the location on the letter. This is the location of the girls' dorm, and the rules state that the penalty for any boy caught seeking into the girls' dorm especially at night is immediate expulsion, so this is obviously meant to lure me into a trap, something that Alexis wouldn't do, Naruto said to Cirrus before he handed back the letter. I'll see you later, Cirrus, and also try not to do anything stupid. With that, Naruto left the locker room, leaving Cirrus alone, hoping that the brunette would take his word on the subject matter. Cirrus looks at the letter again. Sorry, Naruto-san, but I need to make sure of this, Cirrus thought. Time force at the girls' dorm at night. Can you believe that, Naruto guy? A woman asked as she bathed in a hot tub. I know. Said a different girl also bathing in the hot tub. That was totally rude the way he spoke to Dr. Crowler. She turned to face the third person bathing in the hot tub and asked, don't you agree, Alexis? Well, I say, Crowler got what he deserved, and besides I think it was cool the way he humiliated Crowler in class. Alexis said in a dreamy voice. Mindy and Jasmine looks at her with a confused look to their faces. What do you mean by that? Jasmine asked, and before they heard a scream from outside. It's a boy. A girl shrieked from outside the bathhouse. Mindy, Jasmine, and Alexis quickly grabbed some towels and wrapped them around their bodies before rushing outside. When Alexis saw who the boy that was caught and tied up by the girls was, she was shocked and temporarily speechless. What are you doing here, Cirrus? Mindy demanded an answer. I came to ask Alexis a question. Cirrus said in distressed tone as he held his eyes closed. I didn't know that the obelisk blue girl's dorm bathed at this hour, I swear. Leave him to me, Jazz and Mindy. Alexis said. The other girls were about to complain, but stopped and ran away upon seeing Alexis's cold glare. Follow us. Cirrus walked until he stood in front of a door. Individually, Alexis, Jasmine, and Mindy walked in, and then they came back out fully clothed. Now, what did you want to ask me about? Well, I saw this letter in Naruto's locker and it was addressed to him with your name on it. Cirrus explained as he gives the letter to Alexis. She then asked, and why were you looking through his locker? Cirrus then blushed with embarrassment. Well, I kind of forgot which was my locker, so I looked through the other lockers to see which one was mine. That's how I found the letter, he said, looking away from her gaze. Alexis then grabs the letter and started reading it. It wasn't me. I've never sent a letter to him, and this isn't even my penmanship, Alexis said, and Cirrus let out a sigh. So, what Naruto said was true. I should have listened to him, but I let this go against my better judgment, Cirrus said as he let out a sigh. But you're still in trouble, you know, Alexis said, and Cirrus' eyes widened in shock. What do you mean? Cirrus asked. You still trespassed at the girls' dorm, which is a major offense. Mindy said with a smirk on her face. Cirrus had a horrified look on his face. But that means Cirrus didn't finish because he was too scared in what will come out from his mouth, and the girls nodded in confirmation. Cirrus dropped his head in defeat in hearing this, and suddenly Alexis had an idea. I think I have a way to save you from your trouble, Cirrus. Alexis said with a grin, and everyone looks at her in confusion. What do you mean by that, Alexis? Jasmine asked, and Alexis has a smirk on her face. Now, I have the opportunity to duel the son of Maximilian Pegasus, she said, making everyone's eyes widen. I'm Force. Naruto was working on his deck as he always did when Judai busted through their door panting. Judai, where's the fire? Naruto asked as he saw the concerned look on his roommate's face. Naruto-kun, Cirrus is in trouble. Oh no, please don't let it be what I think it is, he thought to himself as he packed up his deck and got his dual disc. I'm Force. Naruto and Judai were heading to the girls' dorm via boat. Naruto let out frustrated sigh. That little idiot, I told him it was a trap and he didn't listen, and now I feel like Mario going to save Peach, only I'm not wearing a red and blue plumber uniform, Bowser is a woman, and Peach is a blue-haired midget, Naruto complained, and Judai looks at him confused. What the hell are you talking about, Naruto-kun? Judai asked. Cirrus found a letter in my locker and I was able to see it. I told Cirrus that it was a trap, but looks like he wanted to make sure of it, Naruto said, and Judai just nodded at him and continued pedaling towards the dorm. When they arrived at the girls' dorm, they saw Alexis standing waiting there with Mindy and Jasmine behind them with Cirrus tied up. So you finally arrived and I see you brought Judai, Alexis said. Naruto and Judai steps out from the boat and looks at them with a serious look on their faces. We're here, so will you release our friend now, Naruto said, knowing that he fell for the letter's trick inadvertently. Now hold on, your friend here trespassed into the girls' dorm, which is a serious offense with immediate expulsion as the consequence, Alexis said. And now you're also trespassing, which mean you're in trouble as he is. If you don't want us to tell on you, then you better listen to Alexis. Jasmine said, and Naruto just sent a glare at the girl that made her flinch slightly from that glare. Although we're wondering why Judai Yuki is in a boys' dorm than in the girls' dorm, since all girls become obelisk blue, Mindy said, getting a raspberry from the brunette. I don't need to explain myself to you, Judai argued. So, how are we going to settle this? Naruto asked, and Alexis smirked at them. The duel, you win, you all walk away free, but lose not only are we report you all to the authorities, but Judai will be moved to the obelisk blue dorm, Alexis said, and Judai had a snarled at her terms. Naruto-kun, cream her, I don't want to see you go or be part of the snob brigade, she whined to her blonde roommate, making the obelisk girls glare at Judai's comment. Fine. Was the only thing that Naruto responded to Alexis's request for a duel. I'm Force. After retrieving another boat, Naruto was in one boat with Judai and Cirrus, and the other side was Alexis with Mindy and Jasmine. Duel. Naruto 4000. Alexis 4000. As my father said, ladies first, Naruto said. Alright, Alexis said as she drew her card. I summon a Toil Cyber, 1200-1600 in attack mode, a red-headed ballerina appeared on the field, then I set a face down and end my turn. My move, draw. Naruto said as he draws his card. I'll start by activating Graceful Charity, I draw 3 and discard 2, he said as he did what the card said. Then I activate 2 spell card Gateway of the 6 and 6 Samurai United, and since I have no monsters, well, you have 1, I special summon Elder of the 6 Samurai, 400 in attack mode, and activate the spell card Asceticism of the 6 Samurai, and special summon Kagemusha of the 6 Samurai, 400 1800s in attack mode, he said as he summoned his monster. Now I activate 6 Samurai United and send it to the graveyard and draw 2 cards, he did as the card instructed. He drew his cards and continued, now I special summon Grandmaster of the 6 Samurai, 2100 800 in attack mode, then I activate Monster Reborn, he said. Alexis was confused, wait, you need a monster target in the graveyard and I still have my Toil Cyber on the field, she said. Then Naruto chuckled, who said I was aiming for your graveyard, this shocked Alexis, then she remembered Graceful Charity from before, so you purposely sent a monster to the graveyard? She asked. Naruto grinned, bingo. Now rise Reijin Pinnacle of Balance, 2400 2000 An. Ah, creature. Thank you YUKICREWGER2. Then from the graveyard came a monster that looked like a certain Hyuga, only she was wearing 6 samurai armor and was wearing gauntlets that resembled lion heads, think miniature versions of God of War 3 Nemean lion gauntlets. The new monster stared at her opponent with a stare that'll scare even the toughest duelist. To continue, I tune my level 2 Kagemusha of the 6 Samurai with my level 3 Elder of the 6 Samurai and synchro summon, he said as the two monsters jumps in the air. Kagemusha turned to two green rings and surrounded Elder of the Six Samurai. May your blade be true and your will be strong as your sword. Synchro summon. A blast of light appear before him. Appear before me legendary Six Samurai Cheyenne, 2500-1400, Naruto roared as the giant pillar of light disappeared and was replaced with a warrior clad in red samurai armor and was carrying a serrated edge katana. The appearance of this monster sent shivers down Alexis's spine because she'd only seen this monster's strength, but not what it can do. I think I'll end this duel, Ryujin attack her Etoile Cyber with Twin Lion Barrage he commanded and his monster jumped into action aimed to finish her monster off. Trap card activate. Double pass Alexis said as the face down reveals itself. This changes your attack into a direct attack and this causes my monster attack you as well. Naruto then chuckled making Alexis nervous and what's so funny? Naruto then looked at her that would have worked if it wasn't for Cheyenne's special ability he said as Cheyenne drew his sword and cut her trap card in half. Alexis was shocked but how? Naruto then answered her question Cheyenne's special ability allows him to negate the activation of any spell trap card and destroys them, so like I said it could have worked, but with Cheyenne on the field, your plan went down the drain he said as his monster continued her assault, thus destroying her monster. Naruto 4000. Alexis 2800. And don't forget my other monsters, Grandmaster, Cheyenne attack her directly. He commanded his monsters to attack the now defenseless blonde. The two warrior monsters then drew their blades and charged at Alexis. 2500 plus 2100 equals, 4600 to 2800 equals, minus 1800. Naruto 4000, winner by FTK. Alexis 0. Alexis got on her hands and knees frustrated at her defeat. What just happened? Jasmine asked not believing that Alexis lost to a Slifer of all things. And that's games he as Judai yelled at him about stealing her catchphrase. Unknown to everyone that someone was watching the duel from the water. It was Crowler wearing a black underwater suit. He watching the whole duel and couldn't help but glare at Naruto who had a smile on his face while trying to calm Judai down before capsizing the boat. Next time. I will make sure that you will get expelled slacker. Crowler thought as he started to think of a scheme again. As soon as I get a ride move Crowler said to himself before submerging and leaving the scene before he too was spotted. Time force. I lost. So like we promise I won't tell anyone and I won't demand that Judai be moved to Obelisk Alexis said. Cirrus cheered and the three Slifers got into a group hug. If you ask me, we should just turn in the boys anyway and have Judai be moved to Obelisk immediately. Jasmine snapped. No one asked you Jazz Alexis snapped making the brunette flinch at her friend's reaction. I lost to Naruto fair and square, so I must honor my part in this duel, so neither I nor you two will speak a word of this she said as she eyed both of her friends. Naruto cleared his throat getting her attention it was a good duel Alexis, but with the cards you have currently, getting over this deck will be difficult he said, getting a glare from said girl. But, I believe my two-san may have some cards that can benefit your deck, so I'll give him a call and have him send those cards over he said, getting a shocked look from everyone. Really you would do that? She asked not believing his words. Naruto chuckled Alexis I'm a man of my word, so I'll have those cards here in 3 days via mail. Also my dad wants to test a new hero deck, so Judai-chan here will be the perfect user for said deck he said, as both Alexis and Judai stared at him with stars in their eyes at the thought of having those new cards. Well it's getting late Judai, Cirrus let's go, Naruto said as both Judai and Cirrus nodded at him and started rowing away. Mindy and Jasmine stared at Alexis who watched the Slifers row back to their side of the lake. Even if he didn't win, I won't turn him in because he's more interesting here than anywhere else Alexis thought. Mindy and Jasmine looks at Alexis with odd look on their faces. I've never seen her like these before. I wonder has she fallen for that blonde Slifer? Jasmine thought. Amik. Naruto and the gang returned to the Slifer dorm, Mizuho left to the Obelisk Blue dorm to confront the one who tried to expel her master. She arrived to the dorm and found Alexis and her friends walking back to their dorms. You try to hurt my master now I'll hurt you she said as she drew her blades and charged at Alexis ready to end her life. Her blades then phased through her target which surprised her. So, she tried again. And again. And again. Then she gave up by throwing her weapons to the floor in a fit of rage damned it I hate not being able to avenge master, she said with a pout as tears threatened to cascade. Winged Kurobo then appeared next to her and placed one of its clawed paws on her shoulder as a gesture to comfort her. She looked up and saw the little winged puffball comforting her. Mizuho gave a soft smile thank you puffball she said. Chapter 4. 2 months have passed since Naruto entered Duel Academy and a lot has happened in short amount of time. Judai had beaten Chaz in an unofficial duel, Naruto had beaten Alexis to prevent himself and Cirrus from being expelled and having Judai moved to the Obelisk dorm. In Naruto's opinion all was pretty good except for waking up in the morning only to find Judai sleeping next to him since the girls' dorm incident. From that he had found out that she liked to sleep in nothing but her panties, so every morning we always got a good look at her perky C-cup breasts and have the occasional nosebleed whenever she turns, and they jiggle. Okay, so maybe that wasn't so bad if it wasn't for the fact that he had to take a cold shower every morning. Damn hormones. Another thing that has changed was Alexis's interaction with Naruto and his group of friends. Apparently after her defeat at his hands, she had taken an interest of the blonde Slifer and had wanted to get closer to the male blonde, which made a lot of people, mostly male, jealous, especially both Mizuho and Judai. Another thing that made everyone jealous was that both Alexis and Judai were given new cards. Alexis got new support cards for her Cyber Girl deck and Judai got a new set of elemental heroes. Also Crowler has been trying to get the blonde in trouble on a multitude of occasions, mostly in class, but all attempts had failed because of the ever-faithful Mizuho-chan and her duty to protect her master and even helping him in his pranks, even though Kaiba had told him to keep his pranks to a minimum, which was one prank a day. Now it was the night before the promotion exams and both Naruto and Judai were excited to be promoted, hopefully into the raw yellow dorm. As the two studied for their exams tomorrow, Sirius came in and asked if he could join their study session. The two agreed and the brunette came in and started studying with his fellow Slifers. Several hours later, it was midnight and Sirius had already gone to bed. Judai was already asleep in her bunk, although that'll change overnight. Naruto was still up conversing with his dual spirits, specifically the god cards. When he first got them, they explained to him that they appear before him to serve him as his guide and will return to their pharaoh once their task with him was completed, although 2 out of the 3 wanted to stay with him, mainly Slifer and Ra, who to his surprise were female. From being around those two, he had learned that Slifer was a dandier and would only talk to her wielders and her siblings, but never anyone else. From Ra he had learned that she was a courtier, always keeping up her cool and unemotional front, but lowers her guard and shows that she was a caring individual and always making sure that her siblings don't get into trouble. Obelisk, being the only male of the 3, always felt clustered when it came to his siblings, but knew that he had to grin and bear it until his task was complete and he can go back to serving his pharaoh. All 3 god monsters were talking to their temporary master in their human forms. Obelisk looked like Kisame Hoshigaki, only more muscular, and had a head crest with a ruby at the center. He had large shoulder guards with spikes, forearm guards with a spike protruding out from the elbow, shuriken-like knee guards and sheen guards. He also had large wings on his back. Her Slifer god conversion. Slifer by G1D4N. The Ra god cards conversion, Ra by G1D4N. And? Yeah, I'm being lazy, but come on, describing what they look like is a pain. Naruto-kun, when are we going to come out and play? Whined Slifer in her human form. Slifer Ni-chan, don't bother master, he'll use us when he needs to, Ra argued. Will you two shut up, I can't hear myself, Obelisk said, only to feel a sense of dread looming over him. He slowly looked bad and saw a dark aura coming off his 2 sisters. What was that? The 2 asked in sweetly unison. Obelisk then did what any all-powerful deity would do in this situation. Run back into his cart and hide like a little girl. Yup, even gods fear powerful goddess, especially when they're outnumbered 2 to 1. Naruto sweat dropped at seeing one of the most powerful cards in the entire game cower in fear, but even he too would do the same or keep his mouth shut as to avoid being killed by the opposite sex. Don't worry Sly-chan, if it comes down to it, I'll summon you, he said, make her squeal with excitement and know that tomorrow she might be summoned. Ra looked at her sister and slowly shook her head. Sister, you know there is no guarantee that it'll be you who'll be summoned, the golden dragon said. I know sister, but I want to be played so badly, I'm just so bored sitting in the deck while listening to those armored monsters talk about strategy all the time, Slifer said with her sister agreeing. Naruto then cleared his throat, getting their attention. It's getting late, we can discuss it in the morning, okay, he said, getting the 2 to agree, and thus they went to sleep. Next day. It's morning and once again, Judai had snuck into his bed and had snuggled into him again, thus having her head on his chest, her arms wrapped around his torso and her legs around his. The one thing that annoyed him about this was that she was a heavy sleeper. His brow twitched while the alarm clock sounded and she was still wrapped around him. Normally he would use his substitution jutsu, but for some reason she was always latched onto him, as if she had a 6th sense in her sleep. So he removed the covers with his only free hand, since his other hand was in a very dangerous location, and use your imagination, and revealed her panty-covered round plump ass, warmed up his hand using a bit of chakra and smack. Oh we. Yelled Judai as she woke up, let her roommate go and rubbing her stinking butt. Naruto got up and started getting dressed. That hurt me, she yelled at the blonde as a blush began to surface on her face. If you had woken up when the alarm clock rung, then I wouldn't have to resort to the alternative, although that blush on your face says otherwise, he argued. Judai blushed a deeper shade of red, then pouted. You didn't have to hit so hard. Naruto blushed a bit from the double meaning behind her words. Anyways, get dressed, we're leaving for breakfast and some last-minute studying before the exam, Naruto said. Yudai nodded her head and started getting dressed despite the fact that Naruto was still in the room. Truth be told, Naruto had gotten so used to see her naked that it doesn't affect him so much, although morning wood was a symptom of seeing those perky breasts jiggle as she breathed. After getting dressed, the two left their room and met up with Cirrus in the meal hall where they ate and studied. With Alexis joining their study group 15 minutes later. In the classroom. After the bell rang, the group left the mess hall and headed to class. When they arrived, they noticed that the proctor for the exam was a man with long black hair and was wearing white long sleeve, black pants and black leather shoes. This man's name is Professor Banner, the head of the Slifer Red dorm, and he was holding a brown cat that he named Pharaoh. Alright class. The first part of the test is a written exam. You have 40 minutes to finish it. No start. Banner said. Soon the students were starting the test, and so far many of the students were struggling to solve each problem, even the smart ones. After 10 minutes has passed. Banner observes the students and knew that they were struggling, but he noticed that Naruto and Judai were asleep. Banner decided to approach them and wake them up. Naruto, Judai, he called, and both students' eyes started to open and they let out a yawn and stretched their arms. Yo teach, is the test over? Naruto asked and everyone in the room looks at him like he was crazy, while Judai merely giggled at a roommate's remark. Banner just gave him a smile. Not yet, Naruto, but I think you and Judai have finished the test. After all, a 100-item test is very hard with a very short amount of time you have, and the same could be said to you too, Judai, Banner said, and Naruto just shrugged at him and gave him the paper while Judai did the same. Already done. After 5 minutes the test started. Naruto said while Judai gave a similar answer. This causes everyone to look at him with shock look on their faces. That's not possible. One of the obelisk students shouted. Naruto and Judai just ignored him and gave the paper to Banner. Banner just accepts the papers and scans it as he checks the answer. He was surprised when they were done. Apparently Judai's interaction with Naruto was a big help if this perfectly scored test that she had turned in was any indication of his study habits rubbing off on her. The two of you have enough points to advance to Obelisk Blue with this score. All you have to do now is pass the practical test now. Banner said, and this causes everyone to look at him shocked, but Naruto did something that surprises them more. He laughed. Ha 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 ha. That's a good one. Naruto said as he laughs and everyone looks at him like he was crazy. After he was done laughing he wipes a tear away from his eyes and looks at Banner with a smile. Sorry Professor Banner, but there's no way in hell that I'm ever going to join Obelisk Blue. After all, they are just bunch of stuck-up kids that only use their money and influence to move above the rank. Only few people in Obelisk Blue deserve my respect, but the rest of them are trash, Naruto stated, and this caused majority amount of the Obelisk students to glare at him. The Slifer and Raw students were completely speechless and shocked at the blonde actions, while Banner and Alexis looked at him with interest. Naruto could feel the killing intent most of Obelisk students, which barely has any effect on him. You Slifer slacker. You should respect us. An Obelisk student said and Naruto turned around to face them. Another one yelled like you're one to talk your Pegasus's heir. First of all, just because I'm the heir to industrial illusions it doesn't mean anything if I can't earn the right to be the next CEO of the company by proving that I can make it on my own, which is why I decided to start from the bottom and earn my way up, but after seeing what the majority of Obelisk Blue, both its students and staff. A majority of you make being Obelisk Blue a bad thing for the rest of us, so I decided to never advance to Obelisk Blue since it's filled with disrespectful and dishonorable punks. Also for the record, respect is earned, not given, something that I worked hard to earn, and not just from my father, but from some of the strongest duelists in the world. If any of you want me to respect any of you then prove it in the field, for me ranking means nothing if you can't prove that you deserve it, Naruto stated, and this hardens the glare majority of the Obelisk students. I'll be going now Professor Banner, Naruto said. I'm going as well, Banner Sensei, Judai said following her friend. Of course Naruto, Judai, you two can go ahead and good luck at the practical exams, Banner said as both Judai and Naruto just nodded at him. While making their way up, majority of the Obelisk students continues to glare at them and they didn't even give a second glance. Once Naruto and Judai left the room, Banner still notices that the students were still glaring at the door where Naruto and Judai had exited the room. He let out a fake cough that causes the students to snap out from their thoughts and look at Banner. You know there are only 20 minutes left to complete your test, Banner said, and this causes everyone to panic and started to answer again. But Naruto and Judai. The two were sitting under the same tree that they would eat lunch. Naruto lay under the shade with his hands behind his head while Judai sat next to him. You know, every Obelisk Blue student is going to be gunning to take you down in the practical portion of this exam, Judai said with worry. Naruto scoffed, let them try, I'll show them what the power of hard work can truly do. Gyudai sighed, stubborn as ever. Naruto-kun, if you keep doing this you'll make powerful enemies, she warned. Naruto sighed, it wouldn't be the first time. I've made a few enemies before coming here, mostly those whom I dueled in tournaments, saying that I cheated when I was test a mere prototype deck for Tucson. In fact, the prototype deck I used for those tournaments were the cards that I gave to both you and Alexis, so the two of you now have tournament-ready decks, he said as he sat up and smiled. Gyudai then pouted. Naruto-kun, I'm being serious, if anything happened to you, she said, but was stopped as Naruto gentle caressed her cheek, causing her to blush. Naruto smiled, don't worry, nothing is going to happen to me, I promise. Gyudai then placed her hand over his. That's not fair, Naruto-kun, she said with a pout. Naruto chuckled, never been one to play fair when it came to these things, he said, taking his hand away from her cheek. Anyways, I've always had the odds stacked against me, and every time I have always pulled through because my stubbornness always outweighed my caution, he said, getting up. Gyudai looked at him and sighed, alright Naruto-kun, just know that I'll be at your side in whatever you decide to do, she said, getting up. Naruto then turned to her. What? He asked. Gyudai then walked over to him and places her hands on his chest. You heard me, I'll always be at your side in whatever you decide to do, because I've always admired your tenacity, your undying will and determination to see things through till the end. I guess those are some of the qualities that drew me to you, and now I know this feeling in my heart, she said, looking down, then she looked into his blue eyes. Naruto-kun, I love you, she confessed. Naruto couldn't believe what he was hearing. Gyudai had confessed to him. The blonde's mind was going a million miles per hour trying to process what he just heard. Then Gyudai did something that completely caught him off guard. She got on her tiptoes and kissed him on the lips. His eyes widened, then they slowly closed, and he wrapped his arms around her and hugged her, bringing her closer, thus deepening the kiss. The two were like that for about 5 minutes, until the need for air took over and the two parted from their kiss. Oh just wow, Naruto said as he looked into Gyudai's hazel-colored eyes. Now you have a reason to keep your word, Naruto-kun, she said in a soft tone. Naruto smiled, then frowned and looked away. Gyudai-chan, there's something he was saying, before being cut off. I know about your relationship with Serenity Wheeler and I don't care, so long as I get my time with you, besides I'm bisexual, so adding another would make for an awesome threesome, she said in a cheerful tone. Naruto was wide-eyed and jaw dropped, but in his mind we was celebrating, and Mizuho, who was hiding up in the trees, was blushing a crimson as deep as the scales on Slifer the Sky Dragon. Naruto recovered and smiled. He was about to say something, but then heard the overcome all students, please report to the testing field for the practical portion of the promotion exams, Chancellor Shepard said. Well, that's us, Naruto-kun, and I hope you win your duel, Gyudai said as she walked off, leaving Naruto to sigh to himself and follow suit. Little did they know that someone else was watching them and with a camera. Time force. Naruto and Gyudai finally arrived at the arena and looked around and saw that the place was packed. Then he spotted Cirrus and others and motioned Gyudai to follow. They quickly approached them. Hey guys. Naruto said cheerfully at the others. Cirrus was the first one to greet them. Naruto, Gyudai. Where have you been? Gyudai, your match is going to start in 5 minutes. Cirrus said to Naruto and Gyudai, who then proceeded through the crowd and entered the arena, where she sees Crowler and Chaz waiting for her. Gyudai's match with Chaz is canon. Gyudai left the arena and defeated Chaz to join with her friends and to be with her new boyfriend Naruto-kun. Did you see me? I beat Chaz, 2 wins for me and 0 of Chaz, MC asshole, she said, beaming with excitement. Naruto then hugged her and kissed, something that a lot of people were surprised by. Naruto Pegasus had just kissed Gyudai Yuki, something that upset Alexis Rhodes and pissed off Crowler. Oh, young love, Chancellor Shepard said as he looked on. Crowler then cleared his throat, still glaring at the two Slifers making out. He picked up the microphone. Naruto Pegasus. Naruto Pegasus. Please come to duel field. The obelisk instructor said. Well, it's my turn, wish me luck. Naruto said as he gave Gyudai a kiss before heading down to the field. Alexis then joined Gyudai and her friends. I see you two are close, she said, trying to hide her irritation. Gyudai, catching her tone, grinned. Jealous are we, she said with a grin that'll make a fox proud. I'm not jealous. Alexis snapped. The group backed away a bit and raised their hands in defense. But the whole crowd had one thought, yup, definitely jealous. But Naruto. Naruto puts on the dual disc and places his Synchro 6 Samurai deck. He finally arrives at the arena and he looks at his opponent and was confused as to how they were. Who are you? He asked, making everyone sweat drop and his opponent's face fault. Naruto looks around with a confused look to his face. Did I say something wrong? We're Taiyu Toramaki and Raizu Matoni, you slacker. They yelled in unison. Naruto then gained a knowing look. Sorry, I make it a habit to always forget trash, so the two of you aren't even worth remembering, he said, getting ooze from the crowd. The two growled at him. You'll pay for that comment, Raizu said, activated his dual disc with Taiyu doing the same. Naruto then activated his dual disc, so I'm dueling the two of you. This should be interesting, he said. Duel. Naruto. 8000. Raizu plus Taiyu. 8,000. In the crowd. Oh man, a 2-on-1 match is a bit unfair, Naruto is seriously at a disadvantage here, Sira said in a worried tone. Judai looked on. Don't worry Sai, as long as Naruto trusts his deck, he'll pull through. I know he will, she said, not taking her eyes off the duel. What do you mean? Sirius asked. Well, for starters, Naruto is a powerful duelist, and with his 6 samurai deck, he's up there with some of Duel Academy's best duelists, Bastion said, answering for Judai. You got that right, Bastion, but I think there's more to his deck than what was shown, Judai said with a serious tone, getting everyone's attention. What do you mean by that? Alexis asked, completely forgetting her jealously towards Judai for making a move on Naruto. I don't know, but from my training with Naruto when it came to dual spirits, he told me the stronger the dual spirit, the more radiant the card will appear, and from what I can see, Naruto's deck is glowing brighter than the Eiffel Tower on Christmas Eve. Which mean that whatever is in his deck, it has to be something powerful, Judai explained. Alexis was surprised at her friend's explanation. She just decided to ignore it and looks at the field to see the battle that was about to begin. On the field. I draw first. Raizu said as he drew a card. First I'll set a monster face down in defense mode, Raizu said as a face down monster card appeared. Then, I place 2 card face down and end my turn. Is that all? And here I'll be worried. My move. Naruto said as he draws his card. I'll activate 2 spell cards, Shin Smoke Signal, which allows me to search out a 6 samurai monster whose level is 3 or lower, and Reinforcement of the Army, which allows me to search out a warrior type monster whose level is 4 or lower, Naruto said as he searched for what he needed. Then shuffled his deck and placed it back into the deck holder. Next, I activate Pot of Greed, which allows me to draw 2 new cards from my deck, Naruto said, as he drew 2 cards and was wide-eyed from his second pull, but then got over the shock. Then I activate 6 Samurai United and Gateway of the 6 Special Summon Elder of the 6 Samurai, 400 in attack mode, he said as he activated his 2 spell card, then summoned his monster. Then I activate the special card Asceticism of the 6 Samurai, which allows me to special summon from my deck a 6 Samurai whose attack is equal to the one I just summoned, but it must have a different name, and I choose Kagemusha of the 6 Samurai, 400 1800s. Next I activate 6 Samurai United and send it to the graveyard to draw 2 cards, he said, as he sent his spell to the grave and drew 2 cards. Now I special summon 2 monsters, Go Grandmaster of the 6 Samurai, 2100 800, and Legendary 6 Samurai Kaizen, 1800 500, to the field in attack mode, he said as he summoned an elderly warrior monster with black and yellow armor, then a monster with armor similar to the older warrior. Now I summon Legendary 6 Samurai Mizuho, 1600 1000, in attack mode, he then summons a female samurai with red eyes and red armor. Master, it pleases me to be in your service once again, the female warrior said to Naruto. Naruto nodded. Now I tune my level 2 Kagemusha with my level 3 Elder and Synchro Summon, he said as the 2 monsters jumps in the air. Kagemusha turned to 2 green rings and surrounded Elder of the 6 Samurai. May your blade be true and your will be strong as your sword. Synchro Summon. A blast of light appears before him. Appear before me, Legendary 6 Samurai Cheyenne, 2500 1400, Naruto roared as the giant pillar of light disappeared and was replaced with a warrior clad in red samurai armor and was carrying a serrated edge katana. When the armored warrior appeared, the crowd cheered. Their IT is a super sexy samurai. I want one. At this, Naruto and Cheyenne sweat dropped at the comments. Quite the fan base I have, huh, master? The synchro monster said to his master. Naruto then sighed. We can talk about it later, he said, getting a nodded from Cheyenne. Now I'll place 2 cards face down and end my turn, he said, playing 2 face downs. Finally my turn, draw, Taiyu said as he drew his card. Now I play Polymerization and fuse the 2-head King Rex and the Crawling Dragon number 2 in my hand to fusion summon Brachioratus, 2200 2000, in attack mode, he said, as a large long-necked dinosaur was played. Now Brachio attack his Mizuho Dino Stampede. He ordered his monster to attack. Naruto then grinned. Sorry, but you activated my trap card Compulsory Evacuation Device. When this card is activated, I get to return 1 monster on the field back to the owner's hand, and I choose your Brachio, Naruto said. What? Taiyu yelled as he saw his monster charge head first into a device, then it was launched into the air and back to him. Then the creature returned to its card and off Taiyu's dual disc. This got him even angrier. Not only did this lifer slacker stop one of his most powerful monster cards, but made his work to summoning it a total waste. I summon Urabi, 1500 800, in defense mode and place 1 card face down and end my turn, he said. In the crowd. Whoa. Naruto just took control of this duel in 1 move, Sira said with amazement. I know, and the fact that he took his turn to set up his field the way he did, I wouldn't be surprised if he won this duel without taking some damage, Judai said, not taking her eyes off the duel, and more importantly her boyfriend. From what I've heard, Naruto was trained by some of the best duelists in the world. I bet he was trained by none other than the king of games himself, Alexa said. If he did, then he learned the power of the heart of the cards, Judai said, confident that Naruto will win this duel. Her nodded in agreement because it was through the heart of the cards that Yugimoto had not only won Duelist Kingdom, but the Battle City tournament and claimed the 3 most powerful cards in the entire world. In the field. My turn, draw, Naruto said as he drew his next card. Before Naruto did anything, Taiyu then called out to Naruto, hey slacker, I'd like to make a little deal with you, he said, getting Naruto's attention. What kind of deal? He asked, weary of what this obelisk student wanted. Quite simple. Forfeit this match and surrender your cards to me and my friend here, and if you do I won't post this little video all over the academy, he said with a smirk. Naruto glared at him. What video? He asked. Taiyu then grinned a very snake-like grin. A video I took of you and Judai after the written tests, he said, making Naruto glare even more. So what, we had a moment, big deal, so I'll have to pass on this and continue with this duel, he said. Taiyu then laughed, suit yourself. He then clicked a button, then the monitors activated and revealed the video he had taken. What was an intimate moment between Naruto and Judai was turned into mudslinging propaganda to humiliate the two, but more on Judai. The obelisk males started to laugh and point at Judai, who was crying right now, while Cirrus, Alexis and Bastion covered her from the crowd's jabs. The Slifer and Ra students as well as the female students were disgusted by what those 2 obelisk blue student had done. Naruto was shocked to see that these 2 had done, they had not only humiliated Judai, but they had made her the joke of the entire academy. Then something inside him snapped. He lowered his head, allowing his bangs to cover his eye. The ha 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 ha, I told you to forfeit, now your little Slifer slut is now the laughing stock of the whole school, Taiyu said as he laughed. Raizu laughed along with him. Having enough, Naruto yelled, that's enough. He yelled as red aura shot out of his body, causing everyone to forget their laughter and look upon the blonde with awe and fear. The aura then died out and the Naruto that stood before the 2 obelisk was different. His hair was wilder than usual, his whiskers were more profound, his canines were elongated as well as his claws. The blonde then lowered his head to face his opponents, but instead of blue eyes they saw crimson with black slits glaring at them. You hurt my girlfriend, so now I'll hurt you. He said in deep voice that almost sounded like he was possessed by a demon. I didn't want to use this, but you have forced my hand. He then picked a card from his hand and raised it into the air. When he did, thundercloud it came rolling in out of nowhere, bringing down torrents of lightning down upon the island. Ah, the 2 students yelled. I sacrifice Grandmaster Kaizen and Mizuho to summon the almighty Slifer, the Sky Dragon. He yelled as he slammed the card onto the dual disc. When he did, the card appeared before disappearing in a pillar of light. What? Everyone yelled. Then from the sky came a red snake-like dragon with 2 mouths just over its master form. Then the creature opened his large mouth and let out a mighty roar. Ruoer. Everyone was shocked that this kid, this Lifer slacker, would have one of the most power cards in his possession, and not just any monster, but the very symbol of his dorm. Naruto then smiled. You obelisk blues have always looked down at us Lifers, so now it is Slifer who looks down on you, he said as the Egyptian god monster stared down at the 2 obelisk students. Wait, can we talk about this, Taiyu said, trying to worm his way of this, while Raizu tried to do the same. Their pleads fell on deaf ears. Oh no, you heard my Judai-chan, so now I'll hurt the both of you painfully. Now Slifer's attack and defense is determined by how many cards I have. I have 3 cards, but I can change that by activating Gateway of the 6, but removing 4 Bushido counters. I can add 1 6 Samurai monster to my hand from either my deck or graveyard, so I can do it 3 times, he said as he went to his graveyard and took what he needed, thus increasing Slifer's attack power. Slifer the Sky Dragon, 6,000 6,000s. Now I attack. Go Shy and cut through his dinosaur. He commanded his warrior and his monster attacked, thus destroying Taiyu's only means of defense. No please. Taiyu begged. Slifer, end this fool. Thunder Surge Blast. Slifer then launched a beam at Taiyu, thus making him to forget his face down. The attack made an explosion upon impact. Naruto. 8,000. Raizu. 4,000, Taiyu defeated. When the smoke cleared, Taiyu was face up on the ground unconscious, and Raizu was completely terrified of the power the creature before him had. Well then, 1 down 1 to go, but since I already conducted my battle phase, 1 end my turn, Naruto said. The crowd. Everyone was shocked to see one of the famous god cards that Yugi himself owned, but that was where the question lied. How did he acquire Slifer the Sky Dragon? And did he have all 3 in his deck? As the thoughts emerged in the minds of the entire student body, Judai, Cirrus, Alexis and Bastion were shocked that their blonde friend had just summoned one of the most powerful monster cards in the entire game. Hey Judai, did you know about this? Cirrus questioned his brunette friend. No, this is the first I've seen this, Judai answered after drying her tears. Wow, to be a witness to the summoning of one of the 3 legendary god cards is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Bastion said, not taking his eyes off the Scarlet Beast. Alexis couldn't form any words to agree with the raw yellow student, but merely nodded. Overhead with Chancellor. Crowler, after this duel is over I want those obelisk students in my office, he said to Crowler. But Chancellor, shouldn't we be sending that Slifer to you on grounds of having injured a student and for having an illegal card in his deck, Crowler said. And take away those cards and give them to my obelisk blue students, he thought as he began brainstorming on who'll get those cards once he confiscated them. Shepard, almost like he can read Crowler's mind, answered, no, I want those too. Beside, I got in contact with Seto Kaiba before Naruto arrived and he told me of the situation regarding Naruto and the god cards, and he said, and I quote, if I find out that someone other than my godson has used the god cards without his permission, then I'll launch a full-scale investigation as to how the card left Naruto's possession and expel and blacklist the students and fire the faculty members and blacklist him or her from working in any other Duel Academy institution. From what he said, I can clearly tell that he was quite serious, Shepard said as Crowler paled of having the owner of Duel Academy come here himself to personally fire and blacklist the ones who stole those cards. Never mind then, stealing those cards isn't worth losing my job, he thought, destroying his plans. Back on the field. Raizu was in a state of shock, his friend was lying on the ground unconscious and he was being stared down by one of the most powerful cards in the game. Well, are you going to take your turn or do I have to end his, Naruto said, getting impatient with Raizu's lack of action. That out of his general shock, Raizu responded, fine, I'll go draw, he said, drawing his card, hoping it was what he needed. When Raizu looked at the card he smirked. Perfect, say goodbye to your god card, Slifer scum, he said, getting everyone's attention. Oh, and how will you do that? Naruto asked. Just watch, I use polymerization and fuse the barrel dragon and blowback dragon in my hand to play Gatling Dragon 2600-1200 in attack mode, Raizu said as 2 machine dragons merged to create a machine dragon on wheels and 3 Gatling guns won all 3 of his heads. Wow, I'm impressed, but did you forget Slifer's special ability? Naruto said. What special ability? Raizu asked. When a monsters is normal or special summoned to your side of the field in face-up attack position, that monsters loses 2000 ATK, then if its ATK has been reduced to 0 as a result, destroy it, but luck for you your monster will survive, go Slifer's second mouth, he ordered his monster. Then Slifer's second mouth opened up and launched a yellow orb at the metal dragon, reducing its attack. Gatling Dragon. 2600 to 2000 equals 600. That won't matter once I activate its special ability. I get to toss a coin 3 times, and for each heads I get, I can destroy that many monsters, he said with a grin. Oh well then, by all means use this effect and see what you get, Naruto challenged. As you wish, he said as he began flipping his coin. In the crowd. This isn't good, if he get 2 heads, then Raizu will destroy both of Naruto's monsters, Bastion said. Oh, how's Naruto going to get out of this one? Cirrus asked. Don't forget, Naruto-kun still has 1 face-down cards, so whatever it is, he has saved it for this moment, Judai said. And how do you know that that face-down will save his monsters? Alexis asked. Because the look on Naruto's face says it all, she said. Point out that Naruto had a calm demeanor to his face, practically showing little to no concern to his opponent's monster effect. I hope you're right, Alexa said. On the field. After flipping the coin 3 times, Raizu got 2 heads. Alright, now I'll destroy 2 of your monsters, so say goodbye to your samurai and your god card. Raizu said as his monster started to charge the Gatling guns. Naruto then grinned. I was hoping you'd do that, for I have the means to save my monsters, Naruto said with a confident smirk. And what would that be, Slifer? Reject, Raizu said. This, I activate my trap card Musakani Magatama, he said, activating a counter trap card. What does that do? Raizu asked, never seeing this card before. I'm glad you asked. You see, whenever my opponent activates a spell card, trap card, or monster effect that destroys a cards, will you control a face-up 6 samurai monster? I can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it, so I'll be negating your Gatling Dragon's effect and sending it to the scrapyard, Naruto said as his trap card started to glow, then the item on the card appeared and wrapped around the mechanical dragon's center head and destroyed it. Raizu was shocked, his best monster was destroyed by a mere trap card, then this got him wondering, did he plan this from the start? Naruto stared at him with his crimson eyes. It's still your turn, or should I start my turn and end this duel? Naruto asked. Fine, I'll play a monster in face-down defense position and end my turn, Raizu said, knowing that if he had summoned something in face-up attack or defense position, then Slifer would have either weakened it or destroyed it. Finally, draw, the blonde said, drawing his next card, thus increasing Slifer's attack. Now I special summon Grandmaster of the 6 Samurai 2100-800 and activate Heavy Storm to rid the field of all spell and trap cards, he said as he activated the spell that destroyed his Gateway of the 6 and Raizu's 2 face-down cards, which were a time machine and a magical cylinder. Now I lend this duel, Grandmaster, Cheyenne attack his face-down monsters. He ordered his monsters to attack Raizu's face-down monsters, which were Oni Tank T-34, 1400-1700 and Robotic Knight, 1600-1800. And now for the grand finale, Slifer attack his life points directly. Thunder Surge Blast. Naruto commanded the giant red dragon to launch a beam of yellow energy at Raizu, when upon impact caused an explosion, which the students covered from, except for Naruto who didn't even flinch from the force of the impact. Slifer the Sky Dragon 5000 5000. 4000, 5000 equals minus 1000. Naruto. 8000, winner. Raizu and Taiyu. 0, defeated. When the smoke cleared, Raizu was face down on the ground, barely conscious. Naruto turned to the crowd and glared at them, especially to the Obelisk Blue students. If any of you try to do what those two did to my Judai-chan, I'll make what I did here look like a slap on the wrist. Is that clear? He asked, with the underlined tone being that if you didn't heed my words, I'll carry out my promise of pain to you. The students got the message and nodded their heads vigorously. Good was all he said before his features returned to normal. He looked up to Slifer, who then gave a mighty roar before fading away and returning to her card. He sees that the medics were loading up the unconscious students onto stretcher and rushed them to the infirmary. He was then tackled to the ground by a red bullet and was followed by a blue bullet. He looks up and sees both Judai and Cirrus with wide smiles on their faces. That was awesome. They said in unison. Thanks you guys, he said, ruffling their hairs. I must say you summoning Slifer was the most unexpected things I've ever seen, Bastion said, still not believing that Naruto had summoned a god card. Well, I was once called the most unpredictable duelist by both Yugi and Kaiba, so I guess that title has really stuck to me, he said, getting up along with Judai and Cirrus. Alexis then joined them on the field. That was an amazing duel, Naruto, just wished I got to see what you could do before you FTK''d me the last time we dueled, she said. Sorry Alexis, but I play my deck to either end a duel quickly or set up my field for whatever my opponent does, he said truthfully. Time force. After the exams were over, both Naruto and Judai were promoted to raw yellow, but due to there being no room for them, the two decided to stay in their old dorm in Slifer red until room was made available. While Naruto was sleeping, Judai was visited by Alexis, who decided to confront Judai about her connection to Naruto. So, you and him are a couple now? Alexis asked as her jealousy surfaced. Yup, and I couldn't be any more happier, she said with a $1,000,000 smile, which got under Alexis's skin in a bad way. But you know, she said, getting Alexis's attention. He's in a relationship with Serenity Wheeler, and I decided to share him, and I'm planning on convincing both him and her to allow myself and you to join, she said, making Alexis's eyes widen and her jaw drop to the group. Oh, it'll be fun, and I wonder what kind of underwear Serenity sleeps in. She asked herself as she walked back to her dorm room, while Alexis couldn't believe what she was hearing. Judai was a pervert and, from what she can guess, a sexual deviant if given the chance. Then images of her with a naked Judai, naked Serenity and a very naked Naruto were all lying in bed in sexy poses. Then Naruto did a come hither motion with his index finger. Come here Alexis-chan, and let all you fantasies come true, the imaginary Naruto said. Alexis was then blasted back via nosebleed. Amic. Izuho was in a corner sulking, while the other monsters were enjoying themselves. Then Cheyenne noticed his fellow samurai's distress and decided to go comfort her. Izuho, why are you so gloom? The samurai leader asked. I was finally summoned, only to be used as a sacrifice to summon Slifer, she said with a defeated tone. Cheyenne's sweat dropped. Well, look at it this way, both Kaizen and Grandmaster were used as the sacrifice as well, he said, trying to cheer Mizuho up. But they served the master while I was merely a bench warmer. Then finally I had a shoot of serving master, but used as tribute, she said as a rain cloud formed over her head and started raining on her. Cheyenne's sweat dropped even more. Was all he said before she started bawling. Why a master no baka, I wanted to serve you. She cried comically. Cheyenne then noticed the several large sake bottles next to Mizuho and sweat dropped again. Oh great, she's drunk, the thought. It has been a week since Naruto and Judai had gotten promoted to the raw yellow dorm. Though the head of the raw dorm, Professor Sartor, was still working on getting them a room, so the two were still held up in their Slifer dorm room. Though they didn't mind that the two could stay with their friends and all, but it's been an entire week and they still don't have a room in their new dorm. It was times like these that Naruto really wished he had called Kaiba to help with this transition. But knew that his godfather was a busy man. That, and if the call wasn't extremely important, then Sito would put him on hold for hours on hand until either Kaiba picked up or Naruto had threw the phone out the nearest window via frustration. Another thing that has changed was his relationship with Judai, which was on second base. For those who don't know what second base is, it's heavy petting and feeling up while making out, up the shirt or shirtless for both partners. Something that Judai enjoyed very much. Another thing is the addition of Alexis Rhodes into the ever-growing harem when Judai brought the idea up. At first he was skeptical of the idea, but after calling Serenity and the girls making a compelling argument. Something about keeping him out of trouble. This made Serenity agree with them and Naruto to cry and I'm tears chanting I don't get into trouble. Unknown Locaton at night. It was the dead of night. The moon was full and was shining throughout the night sky. We find Alexis approaching a building that looks like it had been abandoned. She then lays a single rose at the front of a chain post. Be at peace brother wherever you are. If you're watching over me then you'd see that I'm in a relationship with some wonderful people, she thought to herself. Slifer dorm. Here we find Naruto, Judai, Cirrus and Chumlee sitting around a candlelight table telling ghost stories. Cirrus had just finished with his story and was teased by Judai about the condition of the water that Cirrus was dragged in. Naruto was chuckling because in his experience, being dragged underwater pales in comparison with the things he's seen before coming to this world. In the back of the room, Chumlee was trembling from Cirrus's story and who wouldn't be surprised. The boy hardly ever leaves his room, so any scary story would scare him. Still mid-level scare for a mid-level card, Judai said holding 13th grave. I hope I get a good card, she said only to pull Sinister Serpent. Oh, you lucked out, you get to hardly scare us with that low-level card, Cirrus said sighing in relief of not having to listen to a scary story. Then Judai talks about a memory that she had about hearing sounds coming from her cards. At this, Naruto smiled. Well Judai-chan, it would seem that your cards choose you to be their ears, Naruto said getting a giggle from his girlfriend. Yup, and it's thanks to Naru-kun that now I can understand my monsters better, she said snuggling to her boyfriend. Well I guess it's, he said as he reached for the deck. Ahahaha, I would like to join on the Fright Fest, said as he appeared right behind them, scaring Cirrus and Chumlee out of their seats, while Judai leaped into Naruto's arms carrying her princess style. I think you just did, Cirrus said trying to regain his bearings. We're kind of at the edge of our seats, Judai said hugging her blonde boyfriend. Or at least we were, Cirrus said getting back to his seat, while Chumlee was at the back of the room quivering in fear of being surprised by the sudden appearance of their dorm headmaster. But since you're here now, why don't you draw a card? The tougher it is the scarier your story has to be, Cirrus said fixing his glasses. Banner then drew a card and the card he drew was five-headed god dragon. Whoa, that's a level 12 monster, Judai said with amazement. At the sight of the card, Cirrus started to get nervous. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to bed now, Cirrus said trying to chicken out of a good story in Naruto's opinion. Hahaha, what is wrong? Don't you want to hear about the abandoned dorm at the end of the island? Banner asked. At this, Naruto's face morphed from cheerful to somewhat serious. The abandoned dorm, so that's what Kaiba asked me to look into, Naruto thought to himself. As Banner spoke about the abandoned dorm, Naruto took note from what Banner was saying and the part about several of the students disappearing definitely intrigued him. Then when Banner mentioned shadow games, Naruto's eyes slightly widened to hide his surprise, so Kaiba's suspicions were accurate after all. That dorm and those students were playing with forces that should have been left alone. I'll have to go there myself and see if I can find anything good thing Kaiba Koifu gave me that all access passes, Naruto though as he started to plan his next step. Thanks, you can stop now. A frightened Chumlee said trying to get Banner to stop the story. You see kids, shadow games or duels played with powerful mystical items, Banner said. You mean the Millennium items such as the puzzle once owned by the King of Games himself or the Millennium Rod used by Merrick Ishtar during the Battle City Finals, Naruto said, cutting off Banner. Banner then laughed. I see you know about the Millennium items, young Pegasus, Banner said with a smile on his face. Naruto huffed. Well, of course I do, my god brother is Yugi Muto after all, plus his grandfather Solomon Muto told me stories about the items and how they were used to conduct shadow duels against each other, he said, getting awes from the Judai, Cirrus and Chumlee. Pharaoh then meowed. Banner then stood up. Well, I guess that's my cue to get back home, he said as he left the students. Later they said in unison. You know there's this creepy building I saw in the forest, Cirrus said only to be cut off by Judai, who jumped from her place on Naruto's lap and onto her feet. Oh sweet, so you'll lead us tomorrow night, Judai said with excitement. What? Both Cirrus and Chumlee said. Wait a sec, what do you mean us? Asked Chumlee. It'll be fun, Judai said, before being cut off by Naruto. Meanwhile outside. Prowler was chuckling up a storm. Yes, this is the opportunity that I've been waiting for, he said to himself. It's time the shadow games made a comeback. Millennium items and all, hahaha. Prowler thought to himself as he walked away. At the same time inside. I'm afraid that's a no-go for any of you, he said, making everyone look at him. And why not? Judai asked with an angry pout. An order. 1. The place is forbidden for all students and anyone caught there will be expelled. And 2. I have clearance to go there because I work for Seto Kaiba and he gave me several things to look into and one of those things just happened to be the abandoned dorm he said, getting surprised looks from his friends and girlfriend. How come we're hearing about this now? Asked Yudai. Did you read the rule book? The blonde asked making everyone sweat drop. No, the brunette said. Then there's your answer Naruto said with a smile and 2 eye smiles only to get hit with a paper fan by an angry Judai. That's not funny Judai said pouting with tears threatening to fall down her reddened face. And besides, why would Kaiba ask you to investigate the dorm? Asked Cirrus. Naruto rubbing the lump on his head turned to the brunette because like I said earlier, I work for him and since I was already coming here, he gave me a list of things to look into and the abandoned dorm just so happens to be on the list and now that Banner told us what happened there, I can go there and search for clues about what took place there and also see how the Shadow Realm fits into all this he said. Yudai huffed fine, but we're coming too and that's final she said, leaving no room for argument. Naruto sighed in defeat fine, you can come, but you have to follow my orders he said, getting nods from the other 3. Meanwhile in Domino City. In a dark alleyway, 2 people were dueling. One of them was an average-sized man with a bald head and the other was a very tall man wearing a black trench coat wearing a mask and a fedora. Yeah. Okay you win please just take anything you want just go the frightened man said. Then the tall man pulled out a pyramid-shaped object what I want is your soul he said as the object in his hand started to glow a bright gold. No please show some mercy the bald man begged. Some mercy? What is that? The large man asked as the pyramid glowed crimson. After a blinding flash of light, the bald man was laying on the ground unconscious, then the tall man approached the unconscious man rest in peace in the shadow realm hehe he said as he heard his phone go off. Speak he said as he answered his phone. Duel Academy, tomorrow night, I'll be there he responded. The next day. We find our heroes sitting in Prof. Banner's class as he talked about the philosophy of dueling. Naruto and Judai were taking notes while Cirrus was sleeping, well that's what happens when you spend the majority of the night telling stories. Meanwhile outside, Crowler was spying on the group, frustrated that the pair of recently promoted Ras weren't acting like their Slifer friend was sleeping in class. You two will have a lesson in the shadow games soon, enough Crowler thought as he glared at the 2 former Slifer students. Nighttime. Nighttime on the dock where the lighthouse is, Crowler was standing next to the lighthouse as a black-clad figure appears oh, so you're the one they call the shadow duelist Crowler said the large male figure. The mist started to seep from his cloak my opponents call me many things, but most of which are hard to discern of sheer terror, but enough small talk what's the job? He asked the obelisk head. I want you to frighten someone so intensely that he leaves this academy and never comes back he said as the mist approached him at his feet. Up to the challenge? Crowler asked. Of course, I never turn my back to a challenge he said with the same monotone. Then as the mist thickened, Crowler comically jumped around the man and the man followed his movements. Oh my, you are good he said with some evidence of terror in his voice. I'm better than good and I'll prove it not just by scaring the someone but by banishing him to the shadow realm he said as he slid backwards and faded into the mist, leaving Crowler where he stood. Crowler then smiled well alright if you insist he said. To the group. After some walking and listening to Cirrus and Chumley about bathing, the group finally made it to the abandoned dorm. Naruto then let out a small sigh, I still can't believe you talked me into letting you 3 come with me on this investigation, the blonde said with a hint of defeat. Come on Naruto-kun it'll be fun and beside you'd be lonely out here, Judai said as she hugged Naruto who merely blushed at her statement. Cirrus then noticed the rose on the ground hey I wonder who could have left that? He asked. Naruto then spoke well, Banner said that some of the students went missing here, so whoever left that rose must have been a relative to one of those students, Naruto said in a sad tone. Then they heard the sound of a branch breaking. Ahahaha who's that? Cirrus and Chumley yelled as Cirrus jumped into Chumley's arms, and Scooby-Doo much lol. Both Naruto and Judai turned around and pointed their flashlights at the direction of the sound. There they saw a familiar obelisk blue girl. Alexis Rhodes. Oh hey Alexis-chan, nice finding you here Naruto greeted as Judai jumped to hug her. She latched onto the blonde. Alexis what are you doing here? Cirrus asked before Chumley dropped him to the ground. Alexis pushed Judai off approached them that's funny because I was about to ask you the same thing. She asked. Naruto then cleared his throat I have a reason to be here the other 3 merely tagged along, he said as he opened up his bag and started to set up a go-cam. Alexis then raised an eyebrow oh and what reason is that? She asked her love interest. Before Naruto could speak, Judai spoke it's because he works for Seto Kaiba and was asked to look into things that caught his attention and the mystery of the abandoned dorm is one of them she chimed. Naruto then put his knuckles on Judai's temples and squeezed rather hard. That was classified information, Judai. I don't need my investigation being compromised. Itai. 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 I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. The girl stated to flap her arms and let little comical tears fall out of her eyes. Naruto then let Judai go and turned to the group. So, now that you know why I'm here, can you tell me what your connection to the abandoned dorm is? Judai rubbed her temples to ease the pain. Meanie, she scowled. Alexis made a sad face and turned away. One of the kids that disappeared was my brother, she said in a sad tone as she left. This shocked the group, so I guess the rose was for him, Naruto thought. Then Naruto turned to the dorm. If her story is true, then this entire investigation is starting to sound like a horror movie come to life, he said as he hopped over the chain. He and Judai and Chumlee started to make their way to the dorm. We should head back, you guys, quivered Cirrus. Cirrus, you better come over here, so help me, I'll come over there and drag you here, Naruto shouted, completely annoyed by the cowardice of the blue-haired slifer. Cirrus weighed his options and voted to follow. Hey, wait up, he said, trying to catch up with his friends. Meanwhile, Alexis turned around and saw Naruto, and the group enters the dorm. I hope Naruto-kun knows what he's doing, she thought with a worried expression to her face. As she turned around to leave, she was stopped by a tall black-cloaked figure. Ai. Inside the dorm. Naruto then turned on the go cam and started recorded. Alright, everyone stay close and try not to damage anything, he said, getting highs from the group. Be with a few decorations here and there and we can totally move in here, Judai said with a megawatt smile to her face. Are you kidding? This is worse than the Slifer dorm, Cirrus complained. Meanwhile, Naruto took shoots of the wall and saw hieroglyphics and several images of the Millennium items. Then he find a photo of someone he's never seen before, but in the picture he was wearing an obelisk blue uniform, so he assumed that he was one of the missing students. Unknown location. Alexis wakes up and finds herself bound and in a creepy coffin. Where am I? She asked as a creepy laugh was heard. Don't worry, my dear, you're merely the bait to lure my quarry to me, the voice said. Naruto, Judai, she said. Then a golden slit eye appeared, glowing gold, thus blinding her. Aya! Screamed Alexis. Back with the others. That sounded like Cirrus said. Alexis. Both Naruto and Judai yelled as they followed the scream to a cavern where they found her Etoile Cyber. Then they reach a cave where they found Alexis unconscious and a suspicious black-clad figure. At this, Naruto was angry that someone had hurt someone he cared for. So you finally decided to join us, the man said as he approaches them through the fog. Welcome, Naruto, Judai, for this will be your end, he said. Who the hell are you? Judai asked as she yelled. My name is Titan, the Shadow Duelist, the name said as he introduced himself. At this, Naruto's eyes widen a bit. He had heard rumors of a duelist going around and sending their souls to the Shadow Realm. The question that was swimming through his head was how did Titan get on the island without anyone noticing him? But decided to leave it for later. What did you do to Alexis? Naruto asked with a growl. Like I said, boy, I'm the Shadow Duelist, so from my title you can guess what happened, he said. Naruto clenched his fists until blood was drawn. You bastard, I'll kill you for hurting Alexis, he said as his features became more feral. The man grinned, tempting as that may sound, but I would prefer a duel than actual combat, the man said as he activated his duel disc. Naruto then got out his duel disc, inserted his deck and activated it. I'll rip you to shreds when this is over, Titan, Naruto said with a sneer. He then turned to Alexis. I'll rescue you, Alexis, count on it, he thought as he turned his attention back to Titan. That's if you can defeat me, Titan jeered. Duel. They both said. Naruto 4000. Titan 4000. I'll go first, draw, said Titan as his disc auto shot his card to his hand. I summon Infernal Queen Archfiend, 900-1500, in attack mode, he said as he summons his fiend monster. An Archfiend deck, Naruto said with a surprised look to his face, since this was the first he had encountered this Archetype deck since its creation by his father. When this card is summoned to the field, it increases the attack of a fiend monster by 1000 points, Titan said as he explained his monster effect. Judai and the group were surprised, but then that means Cirrus said as the fiend monster increased its power. 900 plus 1000 equals 1900. Your deck is strong, I'll give you that much, but that power also comes at a price of your life points being taken by your own monsters during each of your standby phases in order to keep your field full of monsters, Naruto said as he remembered this deck's effects. Titan then laughed. A price, you say? He asked. That would be true, but not in the presence of this card, the field spell Pandemonium, he said as he activated his field spell, which created a blinding flash of light, which forced everyone to cover their eyes. When the flash was over, the field had changed for the cave to what the portal to hell looked like, with skeletons creating pillars and a pit at the center. What is this? Judai asked with actual fear in her voice. Let's just say it's the edge of hell, for now. I've activated my field spell Pandemonium, Titan said. Oh great, I hate that card, the blonde said as he glared at Titan. Good. Because this card prevents the cost to maintain my deck from happening and gives monsters with Archfiend in their name the ability to be revived when destroyed outside of battle. Now it's your turn, he said. Whoa, now. If you're so concerned about the girl, then allow me to put her out of your sight, he said as the coffin closed by itself, thus sealing Alexis inside. Then skeletal fingers appeared and dragged the coffin down. Alexis. Naruto yelled. You bastard. Judai yelled. That was low, you creep. Chumley yelled. You coward. Yelled Cirrus. Say what you will, fools, but this is a shadow duel. If you prefer, I'll make the rest of you disappear as well. Yelled Titan. This shocked Judai, Chumley and Cirrus and made Naruto even more furious. If you so much as hurt them, I'll kill you in this duel, Naruto said. I'll start by activating Graceful Charity. I draw 3 and discard 2, he said as he did what the card said. Then I activate 2 spell card Gateway of the 6 and 6 Samurai United, and since I have no monsters, well, you have 1, I special summon Elder of the 6 Samurai 400 in attack mode and activate the spell card Asceticism of the 6 Samurai and special summon Kagemusha of the 6 Samurai 400 1800s in attack mode, he said as he summoned his monster. Now I activate 6 Samurai United and send it to the graveyard and draw 2 cards. He did as the card instructed. He drew his cards and continued. Now I activate Monster Reborn, he said. Titan was confused. Wait, you need a monster target in the graveyard and I still have my Infernal Queen Archfiend is on the field, he said. Then Naruto chuckled. Who said I was aiming for your graveyard? This shocked Titan. Then he remembered Graceful Charity from before. So you purposely sent a monster to the graveyard? He asked. Ding ding ding, give the dead man a prize. I revive a blast from my past Mifune the 47th Ronin. Thank you and I'm Death Angel for the monster idea. 2400 2100 in attack mode, he said as an elderly man appeared with long grey hair which almost reaches down to his waist with bandages wrapped around his head. He has black eyes with distinct wrinkles underneath them, a grey goatee and mustache. He was also wearing 6 samurai style armor but was much more traditional in appearance when compared to the ones worn by the other 6 samurais. It's composed of a breastplate with 4 plates protecting his legs attached to it, identical shoulder pads, and matching arm and leg guards. He also wears a belt to which is attached a pouch and his sword, Kurosawa, in his waist. The monster then turned to Naruto and smiled. It's good to see you again, Naruto-san, he said with a slight bow. If you don't know, it's been too long, my old friend. We can catch up later, but for now we have a duel to win, Naruto said. Very well, Naruto-san, he said, drawing his blade. Just so you know. Mifune's name is treated as 6 samurai, so I get 2 counters because of it. Next, I tune my level 2 Kagemusha of the 6 samurai with my level 3 Elder of the 6 samurai and synchro summon, he said as the 2 monsters jumps in the air. Kagemusha turned to 2 green rings and surrounded Elder of the 6 samurai. May your blade be true and your will be strong as your sword. Synchro summon. A blast of light appear before him. Appear before me, legendary 6 Samurai Cheyenne, 2500 1400, Naruto roared as the giant pillar of light disappeared and was replaced with a warrior clad in red samurai armor and was carrying a serrated edge katana. Now I activate Gateway of the 6's effect and tribute 4 counters 2 times to search my deck for 2 monsters with 6 samurai in their name, he said as he did, and special summons 2 legendary 6 Samurai Kaizen. Now I activate the same effect and search my deck of my final Kaizen, he said as he searched the monster he needed and special summoned it to the field. What do you plan to do with those monsters? Titan asked with a hint of fear. I'm about to show you what a real demon is, he said as he pulled out his card as it started to glow. Since I special summon all my monsters, I'll summon a true demon. I sacrifice all 3 of my Kaizen to summon Obelisk the Tormentor, 4000 4000. He yelled as all 3 Kaizen dematerialized and he slammed the card onto his dual disc. What? Yelled Titan. The portal opened behind Naruto and a giant blue arm appeared, then a giant blue muscular figure appeared out of the portal. The muscular monster stared down at Titan. Why, you have an Egyptian god card? Titan said with much fear. Oh, were you scared of my god card? Naruto said with false pity, then he smirked. Alright, I'll start by crippling you, so shy and attack his demon queen, he ordered as his armored warrior who then lunged at the fiend monster and sliced it in half. 2500 to 1900 equals 600. 4600 equals 3400. Also, for every monster with samurai in its name that are in my graveyard, my monster gets 100 attack and defense points for each, and I have 5, so Mifune is now at 2900. Mifune, attack him directly, he ordered his monster. With pleasure, he said as he charged a Titan and brought down his sword onto Titan. 3400 to 2900 equals 500. Now to end this obelisk fin, he ordered his monster to end the duel when the serpent heads around the cave started to light up, getting everyone's attention. Then on the floor appeared a golden eye. What is this? Naruto asked. Then black mist appeared swirling around them. The smoke wrapped around them and then condenses it to a black ball. Naruto-kun. The group yelled. What is this? Titan asked as he yelled. Naruto looked around. So this is the Shadow Realm, Naruto said as his monsters turned to him and nodded. Then they see black balls falling around them. They attacked Titan and were marching to Naruto, only for Mizuho to appear and attack the black blob monsters. No one harms my master, she said as she sliced the blobs into pieces. Stay back. Help me. Titan yelled as the monster's dog piled him and going into his mouth. Hey, are you okay? Naruto asked as his demonic features faded. Titan then looked at Naruto with glowing red eyes. Well, are you going to end your turn? He asked with a demented tone. No, I'll finish this duel. Go obelisk, end this duel with Fist of Fury. Naruto commanded as the giant blue monster brought his left arm up, made a fist and threw it at Titan. 4,500 equals, minus 3,500. Titan equals 0. Naruto equals winner. Titan equals defeated. Then the black blobs attacked Titan and started to go after Naruto. Let's get out of here, he said, as Obelisk tore a hole through the darkness and Naruto along with his monsters followed after their master. Naruto jumped out of the hole and so did his monsters, but they all turned into their spirit forms. Whoa, I never want to do that again, he said, but then gets tackled by a crying Judai. Naruto-kun, I was so worried, she said, holding on to him for dear life. Naruto then smiled, then caressed her brown hair. I'm here, Judai-chan, he said in a soft tone. Then the ball started to condense. Hit the ground, Chumley said as he ducked with Cirrus, and Naruto turned his back to the ball, thus shielding Judai from harm. He then notices the coffin that Alexis was in was being pulled to the ball. Alexis. He yelled as he did something that surprised Judai. He had created a clone of himself to stop the coffin from being sucked in. When it was over, the clone disappeared in a smokeless vanish. Naruto then sighed. Oh man, Kaiba is not going to like this, he said, knowing what his boss might say about this whole investigation. If the abandoned dorm, then Titan being on the island and now the Shadow Realm has a connection to what happened to the students here. Oh yeah, the report of his findings were going to make even Pegasus on Halloween seem normal. Naruto then got up and walked over to the coffin, then his picked up Alexis and carried her via princess style. Come on guys, let's get out of here, he said, with everyone agreeing to his idea. Several minutes later. Prowler was walking down the halls of the abandoned dorm. Naruto and Judai should be smashed to pieces by now, he said with a chuckle. He then appeared in the main room. There is no one here. I bet that fool failed me, Nona. He said as he discovered something. He found the pandemonium field spell and realized that his hired help had failed to take out Naruto and Judai. Meanwhile with the group. Alexis was coming to. The first thing she sees was Naruto and Judai smiling at her. Oh thank goodness you're alright, Naruto said. What are you guys doing here? She asked Naruto's group. We're sorry that we were giving you a hard time, but don't worry about it. The guy who attacked ran off and Naruto-kun was the one who defeated him by summoning your dorm's mascot, said Judai with a smile on her face. What? Alexis asked, only for Naruto to reveal the obelisk card. SOU, she said. Have all three? Yes. The first two have made an appearance, but I feel that something will have me use the third and I hope that someone deserves it, he said in an angry tone that wasn't missed by anyone. Then Naruto pulled out a Toil Cyber and the picture they had found in the dorm. Here and here, he said, giving her the photo and card. She grabbed the items and was drawn to the photo. Brother. She said. There is no mistake. This is my brother Atticus Rhodes, she said. I'm very sorry, Alexis, but that was the only clue we could muster up. When I heard about your brother we figured I wonder if we could help out a bit and besides this was also part of my investigation, which reminds me, he said as he checked his Go Cam to see that it was still recording. This footage must be sent to Kaiba immediately and knowing him, he'll open up a case about this to look further into the incident of the dorm and its connection to the Shadow Realm, he said. Wait, so that's why, she asked, feeling a ping of hurt inside her heart. No, I went in there with the intention of help you, Alexis, because no one should lose a family member and if there is a way to bring your brother back, I'll find it, he said, making Alexis tear up with joy and knowing that her love interest did care for her. The sun rose and all four members of the investigation party got up and stretched. I can't believe this turned into an all-nighter, Chumley complained. Shit. We better head back before anyone finds out that we've been going, and besides, I need to report to Kaiba and submit my findings to him, Naruto said as he started running back to the Slifer dorm with Judai, Cirrus and Chumley following close behind. Alexis looked on and smiled with a few tears coming down as she hugged the photo. Thank you, Naruto-kun, she said to herself. Monster speech. Monster inner thought. It was a foggy night and the lighthouse shined its light to alert any passing ships of the island. On the dock, you can see Alexis walking and was startled to see Zane Trustdale there looking out at the ocean. Zane, Alexis said, trying to get the obelisk blue's attention as she walked closer. Dawn seems so far away, huh? Zane asked, no taking his eyes off the ocean. Yes, but I believe there's no night without dawn, she answered. We leave the two and cut to where Naruto and Judai were being taken to a hearing of what they've done. However, just before they were taken, Naruto had just submitted his findings to Kaiba when campus security had busted into his dorm room which he shared with Judai. The two were asked to come with them to have a hearing about them being in a restricted area that was the abandoned dorm. Also, both Cirrus and Chumley were being taken to the same destination as they were, so they all knew they were in serious trouble, but luckily for them, Naruto had a way to save his girlfriend and his friends. After arriving, they were told immediately what their fate was. What expelled? Both Judai and Cirrus asked. While, Naruto looked on with a serious face at what the inquiry board has to say. Earlier today, Naruto Pegasus, Judai Yuki and two accomplices broke into the abandoned dorm which was closed off and was made off limits and wreaked havoc inside. The investigation has commenced. The head of the campus security said. We were there because Judai said, before Naruto cut in. We were there because I was under orders to investigate certain things on this island, and the abandoned dorm was one of them, Naruto said, getting everyone's attention. Under who orders, if I may ask? Crowler asked. My godfather and owner of Duel Academy, Seto Kaiba, Naruto said. This made everyone's except Shepard's jaw drop. What? They yelled except for Shepard, who was already aware for Naruto's circumstances. Your godfather, Seto Kaiba, ha. Nice try, Blondie, but that's hard to believe, Crowler said, trying to save face. If you don't believe me, then I guess I can do this, he said as he put down his bag, opened it up and pulled out a laptop. Activated it and called Kaiba via video phone. The call connected and the image of Seto Kaiba came into view. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Kaiba said in a serious tone. Good morning, Kaiba-sama, they said in unison with a hint of fear. Naruto then pulled out a collapsed table out of his bag, set the table up and set the laptop down facing the faculty board. Naruto's posture then changed as he bowed. Seto Kaiba Taicho, good morning, Naruto said in a respectable tone. This got the attention of Judai and her friends. Hello Naruto, I got the file and the report from your investigation of the abandoned dorm and its connection to the Shadow Realm, and also the surprise appearance of the Shadow Duelist is quite questionable, but the video file that you sent me supports what your report says, Kaiba said as he looked at a paper. Hi, Titan couldn't have gotten on the island unless he was brought here without anyone's knowledge, Naruto said, making Crowler sweat a bit. Well, it doesn't matter now, however, from your report, you had help from the names listed here. Judai Yuki, Cirrus Trustdale, Chumley Huffington and Alexis Rhodes, who was kidnapped by Titan, Kaiba said, naming the individuals off the sheet. Hi, they were a big help in my investigation, and Alexis was there to pay her respects for her fallen brother, and I would like to request a pardon for them, Naruto said in a respectable tone. Kaiba looked at Naruto and nodded. Granted, your friends will receive full pardon for aiding you in an investigation that I ordered you to undertake on my behalf, and I'll pardon Alexis because paying respects to a lost family member isn't worthy of a crime, Kaiba said. Thank you, Kaiba Koifu, Naruto said as he bowed. Wait just a minute. Crowler said, getting everyone's attention. Oh, and who are you? Kaiba asked. I'm Dr. Crowler, and these students must be punished for entering a restricted area, Crowler said with an angered tone. Naruto then pulled out his PDA and accessed his all-access pass and a letter from Kaiba, giving him permission to go to any area of the academy and not receive the penalty. This made Crowler fume because now Naruto and his friends were untouchable. I believe that my godson and his friends have won immunity for now, however, just to ask, what would have been the penalty? Kaiba asked. The punishment tag team duel, Crowler said. At this, Kaiba smiled. Well, since they can't be punished, make it an exhibition match with Naruto and Judai against any duelist of your choosing, Kaiba said with a smirk on his face. At this, Cirrus and Chumley were relieved that they were scot-free, but now both Naruto and Judai were to partake in an exhibition match against two duelists in a tag team match. Naruto then turned to Judai, who nodded, and Naruto turned to Kaiba. Kaiba, we accept this match, Naruto said with a grin. This made Kaiba grin as well. Very well, Naruto, I look forward to your victory in this match, Kaiba said before the feed was cut. Several minutes have passed since the hearing, and Shepard was at his desk doing paperwork when Alexis walked in. Sir, there's something, she said, but the Chancellor cut her off. I know, Alexis, and Naruto has requested that you're to receive full pardon and would be allowed to continue to go there to pay your respects to your brother, Shepard said, making Alexis look shocked. How did Alexis try to ask, but the words couldn't form. Naruto called Kaiba to confirm what he was saying was true, and boy was it a conference, so basically all those who were involved were pardoned, and both Naruto and Judai will be in an exhibition tag team duel, Shepard said. Alexis sighed in relief and left Shepard's office. Meanwhile, with Naruto and Judai. After returning from their trial, the couple immediately got to work in fine-tuning their respective decks. Although, Naruto had received a package from his father and what he got surprised him greatly. Hey Naruto-kun, let's have a duel to see where we stand, Judai suggested. Naruto then got his deck and dual disc. Let's go, he said with a smile. When they arrived to the coast, Chumlee, Alexis, Bastion and Cirrus came by to watch their duel. As the waves crashed against the rocks, the two looked at each other with an intense gaze, waiting to see who'll be the first to go. Hey Naruto-kun, don't hold back. Let's not think of it as a test in our skills and just have fun. Judai said in her peppy tone. I was about to say the same thing, love, Naruto said, making Judai blush and Alexis peeved. Duel. Naruto and Judai yelled. 4,000 Judai. 4,000 Naruto. I'll let you go first, Judai-chan, Naruto said. With pleasure, draw. Judai said as she drew her first card and looked at it. I'll summon elemental hero Stratos, AC. 1800 def. 300, attribute. Wind. Type. Warrior effect. Level. 4. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate one of these effects. You can destroy spell trap cards on the field up to the number of hero monsters you control, except this card. Add one hero monster from your deck to your hand. Upon seeing this monster, Naruto smiled. I see that you're using the new elemental heroes I gave you, Naruto said. I love them, Naruto-kun. Thank you, she said as she plays a card face down, thus ending her turn. Naruto then drew his card and got a look that said he remembered something. Oh Judai-chan, today I'm not using my main deck, instead I'm my original deck that 2 cents sent me today, and from what I can tell, he made a lot of modifications, Naruto said, getting a wide-eyed look from everyone. Wow, your old original deck, can't wait to see what it can do, Judai said with excitement in her voice. The sidelines. A new deck and his original deck also means a new challenge for Judai and for Naruto, Bastion said with his arms folded. What do you mean? Cirrus asked. It means that since Judai is up against a deck that is never seen before, she might have to come up with something different since Naruto isn't using his signature 6 Samurai deck, also since his original was modified as he said, these cards are new to Naruto. He has to come up with new strategies. After all, a whole new deck has its own set of rules, Alexis said, agreeing with Bastion. The question is, what type of deck is he using? Chumlee said as he asked the million-dollar question of the day. And knowing his play style, it might be a whole new synchro deck, Bastion answered. Back to Duel. I reveal this card in my hand, he said, revealing a card that shocked everyone. That's the Blue Eyes White Dragon. They yelled. Yes, the legendary Blue Eyes White Dragon in my original deck, so that means father finished the final touches on the deck, he said as he smiled. However, the reason why I revealed it was to special summon this come forth Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, attribute light, LVL8, dragon effect. Cannot be normal summon set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by revealing Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand. You can only special summon Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon once per turn this way. This card's name becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon while it is on the field or in the graveyard. Once per turn. You can target one monster your opponent controls. Destroy it. This card cannot attack the turn this effect is activated. ATK 3000 def 2500 in attack mode, he said as unusual looking Blue Eyes appeared. But how? Asked Judai. You see, Blue Eyes Alternative can be special summoned so long as I reveal a Blue Eyes White Dragon from my hand. Also, it has a special ability for you, see Judai-chan, once per turn, I can target one of my opponent's monsters and destroy it, so go Blue Eyes, destroy her Stratos, he ordered his dragon. The dragon then shot a beam of white energy at Stratos, destroying it. Sidelines. Whoa, that was some effect, Chumlee said, amazed of Blue Eyes Alternative's ability. Yes, however, it reveals what type of deck Naruto's running and so far, he takes after his godfather, Bastion said. What do you mean? Cirrus asked. Because the 3 most powerful duelists have built their decks around these 3 monster. Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon. And those 3 represent something that speaks volume, Bastion informed. You mean power, wisdom and potential, Alexis asked. Yes, Bastion said. I'm kind of lost here, what do you mean? Cirrus asked. It goes like this. The blue eyes represent power and strength, something Kaiba strives for to be the best by using overwhelming power to dominate your opponent. The Dark Magician represent wisdom and knowledge, something Yugi has used during his career as a duelist because he knows that might will only get one so far until one's strength falters. Then lastly, the Red Eyes Black Dragon represents potential and willpower, something that Joey Wheeler has shown during his duels in various tournaments, especially during his duel with Merrick in the Battle City semi-finals. So they are the trinity of duel monsters, Bastion said, amazing the audience. Duel. You're lucky, because my dragon cannot attack on the turn it used its special ability, but my turn isn't over. Because now I activate the spell Dragon Shrine normal spell. Send one dragon-type monster from your deck to the graveyard, then, if that monster in your graveyard is a dragon-type normal monster, you can send one more dragon-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only activate one Dragon Shrine per turn. With this I can send any dragon monster from my deck to the graveyard, he said as he searched through his deck and pulled out a copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon and sent it to the graveyard. This action shocked everyone. Why would you send such a powerful monster to the graveyard? Judai asked, almost fearing the answer. Because if the monster I sent to the graveyard was a dragon-type normal monster, I can send one more dragon-type monster from your deck to the graveyard, so I'll send this, he said, revealing a new white dragon she has never seen before. But then again, this deck was new, so those cards no one outside of Naruto and his father had seen those cards. Naruto then shuffled his deck and continued with his duel. Now I normal summon Maiden with Eyes of Blue, Light Attribute, LVL1, Spellcaster Tuner Effect. When this card is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, change the battle position of this card, then you can special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets this face-up card, you can special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can only use one Maiden with Eyes of Blue effect per turn, and only once that turn. ATK 0 Def 0, in attack mode he said summon a beautiful woman with white hair and blue eyes. The monster then looked around and noticed Naruto. The monster blushed before almost doing a Hinata, i.e. fainting, but the dragon next to her roared as if saying keep you head in the game. Why did you summon her? No offense, but she has 0 attack and defense point. Judai asked. Sidelines. Judai does raise a good question, why did he summon such a weak monster? Chumley asked. Then Chumley had to dodge a rock scaring him. The others looked down and saw that Naruto was glaring at them as if saying call my monster weak again, I won't miss. Getting the message they nodded. Duel. Judai, never underestimate a monster no matter the strength because she is probably the strongest monster in my deck, but I'll tell you later, but for now I activate Soul Charge, normal spell. Target any number of monsters in your graveyard. Special summon them, and if you do, you lose 1000 LP for each monster special summoned by this effect. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. You can only activate one Soul Charge per turn. And by paying 2000 life points I can bring back the 2 monsters from my graveyard, however they can't conduct their battle, but a small price to pay, so come back Blue Eyes White Dragon, Light Attribute, LVL8, Dragon. This legendary dragon is a powerful engine of destruction. Virtually invincible, very few have faced this awesome creature and lived to tell the tale. ATK 3000 Def 2500 and Dragon Spirit of White, Light Attribute, LVL8, Dragon Effect. This card is always treated as a Blue Eyes card. This card is treated as a normal monster while in the hand or graveyard. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one spell trap card your opponent controls. Banish it. During either player's turn, if your opponent controls a monster, you can tribute this card. Special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. ATK 2500 Def 2000, he said as 2 white dragons erupted from the ground, both letting out a mighty roar scaring Judai, because now she knew that Naruto was a duelist to be both respected and feared. Judai. 4000. Naruto. 4000 2000 equals 2000. Now I activate Dragon Spirit of White special ability for you, see I can target one spell or trap card you control and banish it, so go Dragon Spirit banishing roar. Naruto ordered. The weaker dragon then unleashed a powerful roar and sent Judai's face down back to her hand, thus clearing her field. Now Judai knew she was in big trouble, she has nothing to defend with, and now she has 3 powerful dragons staring down at her, wait for the opportunity to blast her, but due to the effects of Soul Charge she was safe for now, but knowing Naruto that wouldn't be a liability. Judai, just so you know Maiden is a tuner monster, he said, surprising everyone. So now you know the severity for underestimating her, now I tune my level 1 Maiden with my level 8 Dragon Spirit of White and Synchro Summon, he said, as Maiden became a single green ring and Dragon Spirit became 8 stars. O great Spirit of White, reveal yourself and unleash your power. Synchro Summon Spirit of Eyes of Blue. Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, Light Attribute, LVL9, Dragon Synchro Effect. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner Blue Eyes monsters, neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. Once per turn, during either player's turn, when an effect of a card in the graveyard is activated, you can negate the activation. During either player's turn, you can tribute the Synchro Summon card. Special summon one Light Dragon type Synchro monster from your extra deck in defense position, except Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, but destroy it during the end phase of this turn. ATK 2500 Def 3000, in defense mode he said, summoning a dragon that was quite literally ghostly white, hence the name. Sidelines. The new Synchro monster, and just like Cheyenne, that monster is dedicated to the Blue Eyes archetype, definitely a troubling monster, Bastion said. I know what you mean, but still to face off against that deck is a frightening thought, said Alexis, as she watched as her harem sister faced off against their boyfriend's monsters. I activate the spell card trait in normal spell. Discard 1 level 8 monster. Draw 2 cards and discard the blue eyes in my hand to draw 2, Naruto said as he then discarded his blue eyes and drew 2 new cards. Then I activate the spell cards of consonants, normal spell. Discard 1 dragon type tuner monster with 1000 or less ATK. Draw 2 cards and send the White Stone of Ancients, a dragon tuner monster, from my hand to the graveyard and draw for 2, he said as he sent the tuner monster to the graveyard and drew for 2. Now I activate Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon's ability and send it to the graveyard to special summon 1 light dragon type synchro monster from my extra deck in defense position, except, however, I have to destroy it during the end phase of this turn, but it won't matter, so come forth Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, Light Attribute, LVL9, Dragon Synchro Effect. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner normal monsters if this card is special summoned. Dragon type monsters you currently control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects until the end of the next turn. Once per turn, during your standby phase. You can target 1 normal monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target. ATK 2500 Def 3000 in defense mode, he said as Spirit Dragon was replaced by a Silver Dragon with deep blue eyes. Sidelines. Now that is a powerful ability. Pitching 1 powerful extra deck monster for another has a lot of advantages because whatever the new card can do will stop whatever your opponent was planning, Alexa said. Yes, which is quite troubling to say the least, Bastion said, fearing the prospect of ever facing off against that deck. Yeah, no kidding, I mean that is Naruto's first turn and look at his field. His godfather would be dancing with joy just from the sheer sight of seeing his prized card used effectively, Cirrus added, getting nods from the rest of the group. Duel. Dude, I'm sorry, but I'm ending this first. I activate Return of the Dragon Lords, normal spell. Target 1 level 7 or 8 dragon type monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If a dragon type monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead and bring back Blue Eyes White Dragon, Naruto said as his discarded blue eyes erupts from the ground, giving a mighty roar. Then I activate Silver's Cry, quick play spell. Target 1 dragon type normal monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target. You can only activate 1 Silver's Cry per turn and bring back Dragon Spirit of White, and just so you know, Spirit of White is treated as a normal monster while in the hand or graveyard, so he was a valid target for my spell card, he informed as the dragon came forth. And like I said, this duel is over. Go Blues and Spirit of White attack her directly, he ordered his 2 dragons. They opened their mouths and unleashed 2 powerful beams of white. 3000 plus, 2500 equals, 5500. 5500 to 4000 equals, minus 1400. Judai. 4000, 5500 equals, minus 1400. Naruto. 2000, winner. Naruto gave his trademark grin. That was an awesome duel, Judai-chan, Naruto said. Judai nodded. Even though it was completely one-sided, she asked. Naruto then looked at his deck. Sorry about, but seeing my old again got me excited, and with these new cards, I just had to show off, Naruto said. You know, Judai-chan, I have to ask. Why didn't you use the new fusion monsters I gave you? Naruto asked, wondering as to why Judai didn't summon any of the new E-Hero fusion monsters. This also got the attention of everyone who was listening and wonder what new fusions has she gotten and why she didn't summon any of them. Judai sweat a bit and rubbed the back of her head nervously. Well, you see, I forgot them, she said. Everyone faulted with sweat dropped at her response. Naruto was the first to recover. You forgot them? He yelled, doing his impression of Iruka's giant head no jutsu with tick marks on his forehead. I'm sorry, Narukan, we left in such a rush and I didn't realize until after I had summoned Stratos that I had forgotten to bring the new fusion, she said honestly. Naruto pinched the bridge of his nose to stem the headache he was having at the moment. He sighed, alright, I'll forgive, but please don't forget them next time because those monsters haven't seen any action in a little over 7 years, so it'll be a huge relief for them to finally be able to fight along someone who'd used them in a duel, Naruto said as the sideline group recovered and joined the two. Go advice. It'll be a huge blow to the both of you if Judai forgot those cards on the day of your exhibition match, Bastion said. I know and I'm sorry, okay, I wanted to try out my new deck, Judai said, but was cut off by Alexis. We all know, Judai, but please be mindful, and besides, after your match, I'd love to challenge you to a duel, she said, facing Judai, her rival in both dueling and Naruto's affection, although she did agree to do the harem thing with Serenity when Naruto called her to introduce them. Well, whoever they bring, we'll take them down, Naruto said with a confident smile. Same here, Judai said as she jumped her boyfriend, only for Alexis to do the same. A week has passed since both Naruto and Judai agreed to partake in an exhibition match. Within the week, Judai had challenged Zane Trustdale, the top student in the Obelisk Blue dorm, to see if she's ready to take on whatever Dr. Crowler threw at them. She lost of course, but she did put up a good fight right before Zane played his endgame, which was a power bond and cyber end dragon combo. Ingenious, but also dangerous if misplayed, but Zane played his cards right and came out victorious. Another thing that happened was Chumlee's father came to Duel Academy to take Chumlee back to the mainland so that he can carry on the family business of making hot sauce, but Judai and Cirrus decided to help Chumlee with his deck to get him ready to duel his father for his right to stay in Duel Academy. Naruto provided some cards to help with Chumlee's deck build. The next day the duel accrued, but even with the new cards, he lost the duel, but his father allowed him to stay since he had found friends who'd stick by him no matter what. Now came the time for the exhibition match. As a bunch of Slifer Red students were conversing in the halls of the academy laughing and having a good time, but that was interrupted by a fuming Dr. Crowler. Why must this Duel Academia for the elite accept these dropout boys? Especially those two punks Judai and Naruto, Crowler thought with a sneer. On top of that, I can't expel those two or the other Slifer rejects because of that, pardon for Seto Kaiba the thought. Only expulsion awaits people like that. He yelled, making the Slifer students look at him as if he was crazy, but not wanting to become the object of the teacher's rage, they entered the room rather quickly. Crowler then grinned, if I can't expel those two, then the duel will humiliate them so bad that they'll quit Duel Academy for good, he said to himself. Hey Professor, a voice said, getting his attention. Crowler turns around and sees Chaz Princeton coming up to him. What is it you want, Chaz? Crowler asked. Please allow me to duel in Naruto and Judai's tag duel, Chaz demanded. Allow you? Crowler questioned. This time I lay waste to both her and her boyfriend with my own hands. Chaz explained. That shall not be necessary, Chaz. He said, getting an odd look from the obelisk student. I've already invited some powerful duelists that are aptly suited for the tag duel. Moreover, you should be more concerned about yourself. At the rate you're at, you'll drop down to raw yellow. Crowler said as he walked away, getting a shocked look from Chaz. Chaz then scowled at the teacher. Raw dorm. In the raw dorm, Naruto and Judai were doing some last-minute preparations with their decks ready for today's tag team exhibition match to whomever was selected for today's duel. In the room, Alexis, Cirrus and Chumlee were helping with whatever was needed for the duel. It's finally the day, huh? Asked Chumlee, who was sitting on Naruto's bed. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, aren't you, Naruto-kun? Judai asked her boyfriend. Yeah, I'm psyched and I can't wait to unleash the last of the three, Naruto said, getting everyone's attention. Wait, you mean you're going to summon, Alexis said before being cut off by Naruto, who then revealed the card he was talking about. The winged dragon of Ra. It's only fair since I've already summoned the other two. Slifer during the promotion match and Obelisk during my duel against Titan, so Ra gets a turn, he said, getting the monster's spirit a nod of approval. I can't wait to see the strongest of the three in action. What about you, Cirrus? Judai asked, pumped and ready to see the last of the three god monsters in a duel. You bet, Cirrus said. Hey, just so you know, this match is going to be broadcasted thanks to Kaiba, so be sure to duel your hardest, Alexa said, reminding the two duelists of the last-minute setting for the duel that Kaiba put together. Naruto then grinned, all the more reason not to lose, he said, getting a nod from Judai. Let's go, Naruto-kun, Judai said as she put her deck away and walked to the door. Alright guys, wish us luck, Naruto said as he followed Judai out the door. 30 minutes later. The duel arena was packed with spectators all here to see the tag team exhibition match between Naruto Pegasus and Judai Yuki versus whoever was called in. Among the crowd, Bastion waited eagerly for the match to start, so it begins at last, he said to himself with a serious tone as he folded his arms in front of his chest. The tag duel, a feminine voice said, getting his attention. Judai may have said she had never been in one before, Naruto on the other hand has some experience, so with him on Judai's side, she'll be able to catch up on the rules, Alexis said as she sat down along with Chumlee and Cirrus. You're Alexis Rhodes from Obelisk Blue, the one who's seen around Naruto and Judai, and you must be their friend Cirrus Trustdale and Chumlee Huffington, Bastion said. It seems you've a somewhat connection to Naruto-kun and Judai-san as well, Alexis said. Oh, it's you again from when we started Duel Academy, Cirrus said. Right to both your statements, Bastion said, turning back to face the duel. It's my fault that they're in this position, but lucky this duel isn't about them being expelled, now it's to see if duelists from this academy are ready for whatever comes our way, she said, getting a nod from Bastion. I wonder who they called in for the match? Cirrus asked. Most likely professionals if the rumors are anything to go by, Bastion said, answering Cirrus's question. In another part of the arena, Chaz sat down with a scowl on his face, knowing that he won't be dueling against Judai and Naruto. Then he noticed Naruto and Judai walking together onto the dueling ring. He then kicks one of the chairs in frustration, getting Raizu's and Taiyu's attention. Wow. It sure is packed, Naruto-kun, and look, cameras, looks like Kaiba pulled through with his promise of this being broadcasted all over the world, Judai said with amazement. If there is one thing I know about my koifu is that if he makes a promise or statement he's going to do it because in his words screw the rules I have money he said, making Judai laugh of what his godfather would say in this situation. As the two walked towards the stadium, Chaz seethed with hatred towards female former Slifer duelist that beat him in the promotion match Judai Yuki. I want to crush that bitch with my own bare hands. He said to himself. Naruto and Judai looked around the crowd and saw that Alexis, Cirrus and Chumli had made it and they were sitting next to Bastion. The two waved at the group and in turn they waved back. As they made their way to their side of the ring, Zane stared at the two Naruto-san Judai-san, let's see if your dueling skills are enough for today's match he thought as he looked on waiting for the duel to begin. Well then, we will begin this exhibition tag duel. Crowler announced. So, will they be facing a teacher or an obelisk blue student or could you be the one dealing with things again? Asked Chancellor Shepard. Not quite, we're having this duel to show what our students fare against those who have outside experience and their opponents must be duelists appropriate for that task, the doctor said answering his boss. Then Shepard said with stars in his eyes. In order to provide the appropriate challenge, I've invited some legendary duelist. Crowler said. Then from behind the duo two figures twirled over them. What? Judai said. The green and orange blurs Summer saluted until they were on the other side of the dueling arena. This caught everyone's attention. Then they flipped and landed behind them. As they stood up both Naruto and Judai got a good look at the two individuals. They wore similar clothing except one wore green and the other wore orange. They had bald heads and Chinese characters on their foreheads, one red pair and the other red docs. Naruto got a good look at them and smiled. We are the roaming guards. The orange-clad man said. The Paradox Brothers. The green man said. Whoa, is this a Hong Kong movie? Judai asked. No, Judai they're Para and Docs also known as the Paradox Brothers they dueled against my god brother during the Duelist Kingdom tournament where Yugi was crowned king of games. Naruto informed Judai of who they are. Wow, how do you know them? She asked. Pegasus did hire them to be the guardians of the secret path to the castle and they were my mentors in learning how to tag duel he said as he went to greet his former teachers. Wow, Naruto-kun you must have some good connections being Seto Kaiba's godson, Yugi Moto's god brother, Pegasus's son, Joey Wheeler's future brother-in-law, and now a former student of the Paradox Brothers, what's next? She asked. Naruto smiled at her all in due time Judai-chan he said, before going to greet the Paradox Brothers. As he approached them they recognized him brother is that? Para asked. It is Doc said. Young Naruto Pegasus they said in unison. Para Joush plus, Doc's Joush plus, it's good to see you again, Naruto said as he bowed. An. Joush plus means teacher in traditional Chinese. The Paradox Brothers bowed as well Naruto Shuishenji, An. Shuishenji means student in traditional Chinese, it is good to see you again as well they said. So the two of you being here means that you're our opponents for today's exhibition match Naruto stated. Of course Shuishenji, think of this as our graduation exam Para said. But you beating us being the goal of this test Docs followed. Duelist Kingdom. On the island of Duelist Kingdom inside Pegasus's castle, the creator himself sat in front of a very large plasma screen TV to watch the duel. On the sofa next to his chair sat Yugi Moto, Solomon Moto, T. Gardner, Tristan Taylor, Joey Wheeler, Serenity Wheeler, Mai Valentine, Merrick Ishtar, Ishizu Ishtar, Odeon Ishtar, Makuba Kaiba and Seto Kaiba all were invited by Pegasus to see the match at his castle. Oh my Kaiba boy, you really pulled out all the stops to make this duel go public, especially since it's your godson who's dueling the creator said as he twirled this cup of wine. Well I wanted to show the world that Duel Academy can produce top-tier duelists who can adapt to any situation and to any challenge set before them, Seto said in his usual monotone while his arms were folded. Oh do you find it strange that Naruto-kun and Judai-san were the only ones to take part in this match? T asked. What do you mean? Yugi asked. It's almost as if someone has a vendetta against Naruto and those who he's associated with T said, making Kaiba look at her. Well if someone does have a grudge against my godson, then they'll be answering to me he said with a serious tone. Don't forget me, my god brother may be no pushover, but I'll defend him no matter what Yugi said with a determined voice. The kid's gonna be my family someday, so is his future-in-law I'ma stick by him, Joey said, making both Serenity and Mai giggle at their brother-boyfriend remark. If you're saying that you'll protect him, then that's not saying much since you can barely defend yourself, Kaiba said taking a shoot at the blonde. Joey seethed at Kaiba's remark, while everyone else was either chuckling or holding Joey back from attacking Seto. Also this will be a good opportunity to see if he can truly summon the third Egyptian god card, since he had already summoned both Slifer and Obelisk in previous duels, Kaiba said, getting everyone's attention saying Yugi, since he could sense when the cards are played and Serenity, because either her fiancé or his other girlfriends would inform her of his progress whenever they could. Wait, are you saying that this child has all 3 cards in his deck and has already summoned 2 of the 3 and is going to summon the strongest of the 3, remarked Merrick as he tried to fathom just how powerful this child could be to withstand the power of an Egyptian god monster without the need of a millennium item or ancestor from ancient times in Egypt. Amazing that such a child is able to command the great beasts and not lose himself, Ishizu said, truly amazed of the boy's power. The group watched as Naruto and Judai walked onto the arena, then they saw 2 blurs, an orange blur and green blur. Oh my, it would seem that those 2 are to be their opponents, Pegasus said, getting everyone's attention. Boo? Asked Yugi. You'll see, was all Pegasus said as he looked to the screen, the blurs revealing themselves to be Para and Dox. Both Yugi and Joey were surprised to see those 2 again, also, that they were to be Naruto and Judai's opponents for the exhibition match. I believe you may be right about someone holding a grudge against those 2 because those 2 are dueling legends and both me and Joey had a hard time winning against them, Yugi said, getting a nod from Joey, agreeing with what Yugi was saying, for he remember how hard it was to duel those 2. My look into who may or may not have a vendetta against my godson, but I have a suspicion who it may be, Kaiba said, narrowing his eyes at the screen. Well, we can't do anything about it now, bro, so let's see if Naruto Nai can handle those 2, Makuba said, rooting from his brother figure to win. Everyone agreed to Makuba's suggestion and turned to the TV. Duel Academy, arena stands. As the duelists walked to their respective sides, everyone was either shocked or horrified at the opponents chosen to duel against Naruto and Judai, however a few were happy to see the 2 raw students get beaten by these 2 legendary duelists. I've heard about them, they're the sibling duelists who gave the king of games a hard time with their invincible combinations, said Alexis, now concerned for her boyfriend and harem sister. Those 2 have a slim chance against opponents like that, Bastion said with a worried tone to his voice. Both Cirrus and Chumlee prayed for their friend's victory. Jazz was grinning, hoping to see both Judai and Naruto suffer a humiliating defeat. This is excellent, suffer an unsightly defeat in front of not only everyone here, but everyone who's watching this duel. Judai Yuki, Naruto Pegasus, the Princeton heir said. Zane merely looked on, but was concerned for his rival's chances of defeating such experienced opponents. We hold no grudge to thee, but Para said. We're locked in battle for reasons of our own, Doc said. If you cannot defeat us, said Para. Your path will remain blocked, said Dox. Now come and fight us, they said in union. Prowler chuckled until he heard a voice from behind him. This is quite the drastic measure, the voice said, getting his attention, revealing it to be Chancellor Shepard, who looked somewhat crossed but amazed to see the legendary tag team. It's really them, he said with amazement. Prowler trying to save face, but principal, they broke a very important rule and needed to be punished, he said, until he received a glare from Shepard which scared him. They were pardoned by Seto Kaiba himself, or have you forgotten? The principal asked, making the feminine male sweat like crazy. Chancellor, it's fine, Naruto said, getting his duel disc ready. Are you sure? The chubby man asked. Naruto nodded. I was hoping to face them in the future, but better now than later, so let's get this started, Naruto said with determination, with Judai agreeing with her boyfriend. Very well, Crowler, proceed, and when this duel is over I want to see you in my office, he said, giving Crowler a stern look which made the man pale. And now both sides get into position. Crowler said, getting cheers from everyone in the audience and cheers from everyone who's watching the duel. Naruto turned to Judai, was shaking a bit. Judai-chan, remember, just see this as another duel and not as an exhibition match. Also please tell me you brought the cards with you, he said, remembering what happened the last time they dueled. Judai smiled and nodded her head for both his question and his words of confidence. You cannot give advice to your tag partner. Also, you can treat your partner's field as your own field. Understand? Crowler said as he told the rules of the match. Each tag team will share 8,000 life points. So then duel. Crowler said as he ran off the field. Duel. The duelist said. Naruto and Judai. 8,000. Har and Dox. 8,000. Naruto drew his cards and noticed that he didn't have his synchro combo in his hand, so he decided to go with it. I'll start off with activate 2 spell cards, Shen Smoke Signal, which allows me to search out a 6 Samurai monster whose level is 3 or lower, and 6 Samurai United, he said as he searched through his deck for a monster as per Smoke Signal's effect. Then he reshuffled his deck and started next. I summon legendary 6 Samurai Kageki, 202,000, and I activate his special ability. You see, when this card is normal summoned, I can special summon one level 4 or lower 6 Samurai monster from my hand. Also, while I control a face-up 6 Samurai monster with a different name, this card gains 1500 ATK. So I special summon legendary 6 Samurai Shinai, level 3, attribute water, warrior effect, attack. 1500 defense. 1500. If you control a face-up legendary 6 Samurai Mizuho, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is tributed, select one 6 Samurai monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand, except legendary 6 Samurai Shinai. In attack mode and I activate 6 Samurai United's effect and send it to the graveyard to draw 2 cards, Naruto said as he placed the spell card into the discard pile and drew 2 new cards. Now I activate Gateway of the Six and Shinai's effect and special summon Mizuho, 1600-1000, from my hand he said as he summoned the red armored samurai, who then looked to her brother. It's nice to see you out Ani-san, Mizuho said, getting a nod from the blue armored warrior. Next I'll play 2 cards face down and end my turn, he said, ending his turn. Naruto's field. Mizuho 1600-1000, Shinai 1500-1500, Kageki 1700-2000, Gateway of the Six +2 face downs. Hara then decided to go next. It's my turn. Draw. He said as he drew his card. I summoned Jirai Gumo, level 4, attribute, Earth, insect effect, ATK. 2200 def. 100, when this monster declares an attack. Toss a coin and call it. If you call wrong, lose half your life points in attack mode, he said, summoning a giant spider. Hara's field. Jirai Gumo 2200-100. Then Judai went next. My turn. Draw. She said as she drew her card. I summon Elemental Hero Lady Heat, level 4, attribute Fire, Pyro effect, ATK. 1300 def. 1000 during each of your end phases. Inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each face-up elemental hero monster you control. In defense mode, she said. Judai's field. Hero Lady Heat 1300-1000. However, before Dox could start his turn, he felt a burning sensation and saw his life point meter drop by 200 points. Before he could say anything, Judai answered, sorry, but that was Lady Heat's ability. For you see, for every hero I control while Heat is on the field, I can inflict 200 damage during my end phase, so that is why you lost 200 life points, Judai said, getting cheers from the crowd for their classmates getting first blood. Naruto and Judai. 8000. Hara and Dox. 7800. Dox merely nodded and started his turn. It's my turn. Draw. He said, drawing his next card. I summon Kaiser Seahorse, level 4, attribute Light, Sea Serpent effect, ATK 1700 def. 1650, this card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a light monster in attack mode. He said, summoning a warrior sea monster. The moment Naruto laid eyes on that card, it clicked, damn, if one of those 2 uses that seahorse it'll be trouble, since I know what they're going for. I have to stop it before they summon that, Naruto thought as he planned to get rid of the Kaiser Seahorse. However, his train of thought was interrupted when Doc spoke. I activate a spell card, Tribute All, tribute 1 monster. Special summon 1 level 7 monster from your hand that can be normal summoned or set summoned. It cannot attack this turn. This card activates by sacrificing 1 monster on my field, he said, nodding to his brother, who nodded back. Naruto felt a sense of dread and hoped he wasn't right, but that's wishful thinking on his part. I use Jirai Gumo as a sacrifice to summon to special summons a level 7 monster from my hand. Come forth. Lord of the Wind Kazugen, level 7, attribute Wind, spellcaster effect, ATK. 2400 def. 2200 during damage calculation in your opponent's turn. If this card is being attacked, you can target the attacking monster. Make that target's ATK 0 during damage calculation only. This is a quick effect. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. In attack mode, he said, summoning a large green monster with arms and a large round body. Naruto in his mind cursed, hoping to stop this, but then realized his face down. Naruto smirked, sorry Dox, but I'm afraid that oversized hot air balloon has overstayed its welcome. I activate my face down card, bottomless trap hole, he said, getting shocked looks from his former mentors. Then the ground underneath Kazugen opened up and sucked the monster in, only to close up, leaving no trace of said monster. Naruto laughed, sorry, but I couldn't let you go through with your combo, so here's the wrench to your plan. By using bottomless trap hole, any monster whose attack is 2000 or higher is removed from play, so Kazugen goes bye-bye, he said, getting cheers from the crowd. Duelist Kingdom, Pegasus Castle. The spectators watched as the duel unfolded. Pegasus was quite surprised at the cards used by Judai, so that's why Naruto boy had me send over his old elemental hero deck so he could give it to someone who can both love and appreciate the deck's overall flow, Pegasus said with cheer. I know what you mean. Naruto has a unique way of sensing how someone plays their deck and see if he could help by improving the current deck or help find new ways to use what is currently in use, Yugi said, amazed with how things were turning out. Then they saw Doc summon Kazugen, which made Yugi and Joey wide-eye yug. If they don't stop them there, then they're in for, he said, but was cut off when a large hole appeared under the monster and sucked it in. Then they heard what Naruto said and everyone started laughing. Never mind then, said Joey, now relieved that Naruto doesn't have to face the Gate Guardian like they did. Thought Yugi was a bit suspicious. Duel Academy, Arena stands. He used his partner's monster as a tribute to call out a powerful monster, Bastion said. This kind of cooperation on the first turn simply amazing, but it's a relief that Naruto-kun had that face down, Alexa said, relieved that Naruto and Judai didn't have to face such a powerful monster. Sirius and Chumley were thinking the same thing as Alexis. Zane smirked at how Naruto took control of the playing field by removing a potential threat from the game altogether. "I'm sorry brother, I didn't anticipate such a trap to have been played. Our student has learned well," Doc said with a hint of pride for his former pupil. "It's quite alright brother, but please do be careful, we mustn't underestimate either Naruto or his partner," Paras said. "I activate Dark Designator, declare one monster name. If the declared card is in your opponent's deck, add one of that card to your opponent's hand," Doc said, activating his spell card. "If a monster that I designate is in my opponent's deck, this card can add this card to my opponent's hand," he said, making both Naruto and Judai a bit nervous. "And I designate the Thunder Lord Sangha," he said, pointing to Para. Para then laughed. "I thank you. Naturally I have a Sangha in my deck," he said, going through his deck and finding what he needed. Naruto was calm outward, but on the inside he was cursing his luck with such a colorful vocabulary that he'll make sailors look like Sunday school girl. "Now it's time for the real duel to begin," the brother said in unison. "Wow, they summon a powerful monster on their first turn. Thank Naruto-kun," she said, thanking her boyfriend from removing the behemoth off the field. "Don't thank me just yet, Judai-chan," Naruto said, getting her attention. "What do you mean?" she asked. "Remember what Para said when he went to retrieve the Sangha card?" he asked. Mini flashback. Para then laughed. "I thank you. Naturally I have a Sangha in my deck," he said, going through his deck and finding what he needed. Mini flashback. "Hi." Then it hit her. "Why, you don't mean," she stuttered. "Yes, each of them has a set of those cards to make Gate Guardian, so that's 5 cards left, meaning 2 Sujin, 2 Sangha, and 1 Kazujin, so be ready, Judai-chan," Naruto said, getting ready for his turn. Doc's Field. Kaiser Seahorse 1700-1650. "My turn. Draw," Naruto said as he drew his next card and go wide-eye at the card. "The Winged Dragon of Ra. To draw you this early must mean you really want to come out to play," he thought before smirking. This caught the brother's attention. "Oh, and what are you smiling about?" asked Para. "I just drew the one card that'll turn this duel completely one-sided," he said, making everyone look at him. "However, but first I need to set the field, so I'll activate Pot of Greed and draw 2 cards." He drew the 2 cards. "Then I special summon both legendary 6 Samurai Kaizen, 1800-500, and Grandmaster of the 6, 2100-800, in attack mode," Naruto said, summoning his warrior monsters. "Now I activate Kaizen's effect for you. See if I control 2 or more other face-up 6 Samurai monsters. This card gains 300 ATK in def, so my Kaizen gets stronger," he said. Kaizen. ATK 1800 plus 300 equals 2100 def 500 plus 300 equals 800. Kaizen, 2100-800. "Now the stage is set to summon the most powerful card in my entire deck," he said as he picked the card and held it into the air as it starts to glow. Everyone was awed at what he meant by that. "I sacrifice Grandmaster, Kaizen and Kageki to summon the all-power Winged Dragon of Ra," he said as he slapped the card onto his duel disc. Grandmaster, 2100-800 plus, Kaizen, 2100-800 plus, Kageki, 1700-2000 equals, the Winged Dragon of Ra, 5900-3600. "What?" everyone yelled as a beam of light erupted behind Naruto. When the light faded, a giant golden ball was revealed floating just above Naruto. At first there was silence, but then there was laughter coming from the obelisk blue students, thinking that the Ra student had summoned the great beast, but all he got was a giant glowing disco ball. However, those who paid attention in class knew that Ra was so powerful that upon being summoned it sealed until the chant was said to release it from its own prison, and the only one who knew were Merrick, the original holder of the card, and Yugimoto, who acquired the card in the Battle City finals. Naruto brought his arms in a cross and started to speak. "Almighty protector of the sun and sky, I beg of thee, please heed my cry." He started to speak the chant. As he did, the orb started to morph into the great beast. "Transform thyself from orb of light and bring me victory in this fight," he said as the orb took more of the appearance of its released form. "And beseech thee grace our humble game, but first I shall call out thy name," he said as the orb erupted into a mighty flash of light, blinding everyone. "Winged Dragon of Ra," he cried out as he spread his arms out. And from the light a mighty roar was heard. As the light faded and everyone getting their vision back only to see a giant golden dragon looming over Naruto. The raw yellow students were starstruck to see their door mascot in all its glory. Duelist Kingdom, Pegasus Castle. Everyone was shocked that on his second turn he had summoned the most powerful of the 3 god monsters. Merrick especially was both awed and shocked before he felt a ting of pride to see his former partner in action again. "Yugi, you got to tell me when you decide to go to Academy Island. I want to meet this boy," the young Ishtar said, getting a nod from Yugi and a smile from both his adopted brother and sister, happy to see Merrick wanting to make friends with the young blonde on screen. I'm pretty sure he'd challenge you to a duel, so be sure to have your deck on hand, Yugi said, getting a nod from Merrick. Oh yeah, now this duel has completely become one-sided, kind of feel sorry for the brothers, Tristan said, with everyone agreeing with him. Duel Academy, arena stands. The brother were completely terrified because not only did their former student summon an Egyptian god monster, but Para was completely vulnerable to a direct attack should Naruto target him. Naruto stared at the mighty beast, and the creature looked at its summoner and nodded, saying it was ready to fight. Alright, let's see how much damage we can do. Go Winged Dragon of Ra, attack Para directly with Solar Flare Blast. Naruto commanded the Golden Dragon. The ring on the creature's back started to glow, then form a miniature sun on its back, only for it to be absorbed at its mouth and fired at Para, who was too shocked to even move. Para took the blast head on, and the attack made an explosion upon impact. Naruto and Judai. 8,000. Para and Ox. 7,800 to 5,900 equals 1,900, Para defeated. When the smoke cleared, Para was face up on the ground unconscious, and Dox was completely terrified of the power the creature before him had. But from the look of his former student, it was far from over. Ox, I'm calling it in. Final turn, he said, getting everyone's attention, especially Judai's. Now I pay 1,000 life point to activate Ra's ability for you. See, by pay the amount, Ra can destroy one monster on the field, and I choose your Kaiser Seahorse as the target, he said, pointing to Dox's monster, only for it to receive a miniature sun through the gut, thus destroying it. Now to end this duel. Go Shinai Mizuho, attack him directly, he said, ordering his two warrior monster to finish him off. The two monsters appeared in front of Dox and unleashed their weapons upon him. Naruto and Judai. 8,000. Para and Dox. 1,900, 1,700, minus 1,500 equals 0. Winners. Naruto and Judai. The duel ended with Naruto and Judai as the victors. The entire student body cheered to see two of their classmates not only take one professional duelists but come out victorious. Crowler scowled that those two had won their duel, but was replaced with a nervous look when he felt a rather large hand on his shoulder, and he looked to see Chancellor Shepard, which reminded him that he was to go to his office to discuss what just transpired. Up in the stands, Cirrus and Chumlee cheered for their friend's victory, while Alexis and Bastion smiled at Naruto and Judai for managing to defeat two powerful duelists, also for Naruto to summoning his dorm's mascot. No doubt both Slifer and Ra dorms have a newfound respect for the heir of Pegasus. Zane smiled and left the arena without saying a word. Chaz was seething at the two for defeating the Paradox brothers and not suffered the humiliating defeat he wished for them. Duelist Kingdom, Pegasus Castle. Everyone was shocked to see how the duel ended. Although, Sito knew how Naruto played from the data he receives from the principal and has come up with the conclusion that Naruto's overall play style is to overwhelm his opponent with sheer numbers or control the field long enough to OTK his opponent. However, to summon the Winged Dragon of Ra on his second turn was an incredible feat that Merrick was both in awe and shock. Now I can't wait to duel him, Merrick said, trying to hold his excitement. Shizu looked at her brother with a soft smile because their father robbed him of his childhood, and when his dark side manifested, he was too preoccupied with taking over the world than to have fun like a normal child would. So this was his way of expressing his desire to make new friends. Be careful, Merrick. Naruto-san looks like a formidable opponent, and with the heart of the cards at his side, he might just be the strongest duelist next to Yugi-san you may ever face, she said, warning her brother. Merrick laughed. I know, sister, I'll be sure to be ready, he said, keeping his smile. I'll help with your deck preparations, then Nai-san, Odeon said, offering to help his little brother. Okay Odeon, once we get back we'll work on my deck together, Merrick responded to his older brother. You can come by the shop and pick up some cards before you leave, Yugi offered. Thanks Yugi, Merrick said. Like your sister said, be careful because he was trained by everyone here, Pegasus said with a somewhat serious tone which got the Ishtar's attention, especially Merrick, who was wide-eyed at the thought of Naruto being trained by the like of Maximilian Pegasus, Yugi Moto, Sito Kaiba and Joey Wheeler. Four of the best duelists in their own right. Just the thought of the Pegasus heir being on equal foot with these four dueling titans was a frightening thought. Duel Academy, arena stands. Naruto and Judai approached the brothers as Dox was helping his brother up. Dox, I'm sorry for taking it too far, I didn't mean to get you hurt, he said, feeling ashamed of harming his former master. Ara smiled. It is of no concern, young grasshopper, he said. You passed our test with flying colors, so you're now the master of tag dueling, he said. We look forward to your future exploits, they said in unison, making Naruto and Judai laugh at the brother way of finishing each other's sentences. Then I promise to not let you down or let your teachings go to waste, Naruto said as he bowed. Then the brothers bowed, then started to leave. Naruto and Judai watched as the brother left the arena as Alexis, Cirrus, Chumlee, and Bastion joined them on the field. That was an awesome performance, bro, Cirrus said with his usual excited voice. Totally licious, said Chumlee. A fitting end if I do say so myself, and to win by using our door mascot, truly you honor us, Bastion said, still excited having seen his second god monster, and the winged dragon of Ra was definitely a real once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Naruto-kun is always you OTK your opponent, said Alexis, not surprised how quickly the duel lasted. Hey, it was either ended now or have them summon the Gate Guardian, and just so you know this deck can't get over that unless it's with the help of my god cards, Naruto admitted to his deck's glaring flaw. It can swarm the field, but it can't get over stronger monsters, so it has support cards to cover that weakness, but once those cards were used up, then it's a matter of preventing the swarm capability, then you pretty much shut the deck down. That was an excellent duel, Shepard said as he approached the group. Thank you, Chancellor, though I hope it wasn't too quick. He asked, worried if he should have dragged it on to show off Yudai's new cards. It's alright, at least this duel proved that there are indeed powerful young duelists here at the academy, and who knows, maybe we'll be receiving a new batch of potential duelists, he said with eye smiles. Glad to have shown our academy's potential of producing top-tier duelists, Chancellor Naruto said before the man left the arena with a shivering Crowler in tow. Most likely to get reprimanded for trying and failing to either expel or humiliate the students that came to Duel Academy, mostly towards those who wear or once wore Slifer red. RA dorm, Naruto and Judai's room. Once the duel was over, the group went back to Naruto Judai's dorm room to celebrate their victory. It started as a nice get-together with Bastion thanking him for summon Ra and supporting their dorm. Chumlee brought his homemade shish kebabs topped with his father's famous hot sauce. Apparently only Naruto and Chumlee were the only ones who could eat them because they were too hot. About an hour in, a very tired Chumlee carried a sleeping Cirrus back to the Slifer dorm, while Bastion decided to return to his dorm room, leaving Naruto, Judai and Alexis alone. Naruto, deciding to start heading to bed, was told to wait by Judai, who dragged Alexis to the bathroom, leaving Naruto alone in the room, so he decided to change into his sleepwear, which consisted of only the raw yellow sweatpants, leaving his upper half naked. As Naruto got into bed, he heard the door to the bathroom open only to see something that made his face glow a crimson red. Judai and Alexis in red and black sexy ladies lace lingerie nightwear underwear sleepwear dress G-string. The two girls stalked to their boyfriend and were on either side. Alexis on his left and Judai on his right. They dragged him into bed and laid their heads on his chest. Alexis was blushing through the whole thing but settled down when she heard Naruto heartbeat. Naruto then snaked his arms around their waists and drew them closer. Good night, dueling angels, he said before closing his eyes. Good night, our future king of games, they said in unison before turning off the lamps on the nightstands and following Naruto to dreamland. What if Naruto Yugioh bijuu deck harem end here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.